What's up, everyone? It's the interview queen Alicia Atout here, and be sure to watch Tru Heel Heat.
Oye, te habla tío Savio Vega. This is Savio Vega, and you watching Tru Heel Heat a mi manera o pa la calle.
Hey everybody, it's Tony Schiavone of All Elite Wrestling, and this is Tru Heel Heat, and I said it right, you motherfuckers.
All right, ready when you are.
Hey guys, I may have go away heat, but these guys have Tru Heel Heat. So you better listen to the podcast, or else I'm gonna kick you in your fucking cock and balls.
I'll get it.
We are back at it again. Tru Heel Heat 224. It's Saturday morning. You know what that means. It's time for our flagship podcast, the Saturday Morning Cookout. I'm not wearing Laker gear because I'm getting mentally ready for the game tonight. We are 1-1, so still the prediction stays the same. Golden State Warriors, Ultimate Warrior, Warrior Wrestling. Warriors come out to play. Lakers in 5. Lakers in 5. Lakers in 5. Hello, hello, hello. It is me, your Tru Heel Phenom, SP3. We are live on the Tru Heel Heat YouTube and Facebook for Tru Heel Heat 224. All tickets Elite Wrestling, discussing the latest wrestling news, including AEW All In having record-breaking ticket sale week for the company. Recap of this weekend wrestling with AEW Dynamite featuring the Four Pillars tag team matchup. Rampage with the hilarious The Firm deletion. WWE Smackdown in Puerto Rico. You had Raw with the final night of the WWE Draft. NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Wrestling Dontaku with a major re-debut. Stardom, Legend of Fuoku, Goddess, Impact, ROH, plus much, much more. And of course, preview and predictions for WWE Backlash. She is back. She's on her Roman Reigns schedule. She's here every other week.
Come on, guys.
Here with the flowing hair, like she's Roman in his prime. She is the princess of all the Tru Heels, Miss Krssi Luv.
Good morning, friends. Golden State in 5, friend. Thank you. It'll be Golden State and it'll be Miami in the finals, friends. Let's go, Warriors. Let's do this.
On the road? Which team won on the road? Which team is undefeated at home? I just want to ask that. Can you answer me that? Can you answer me that? So you really think they're going to see you at
game 5, friend? We'll see you at game 5. Okay?
We'll see Crypto.com Arena.
We'll see you at game 5. Okay, friends? Right, Dolores? Let's go, Warriors. Okay, it'll be Warriors, and it's going to be Miami.
Never lost in Crypto.com Arena.
Okay, that's all fine and well, but you will lose, and you will lose in 5. It's okay. Don't worry about it. It's okay.
Just saying. We'll see tonight.
Good morning.
We'll see what happens tonight.
Just here. It's the cookout. It's Saturday. Hello, everybody. Hello, friends. Yes. I am here. Happy to see you all. Good morning. The draft was bullshit, but we'll talk about it. Okay, thanks.
We'll talk about it. And we have a very
I don't like the draft. I'm not a fan of it. I've never have been. I think it was a lot. I'm happy for the NXT people. Okay, we're not doing this right now. Sorry.
I was like, we're gonna talk about it.
We're not doing this right now. Sorry.
Special guest with us, and he is very special because his birthday is in May. He's a Taurus like me, so he must be good people. And we are celebrating the honorary Puerto Rican week because WWE Rampage is in San Juan, Puerto Rico tonight, and he's a Puerto Rican, so he checks all the boxes. We know him from House of Rasslin. He's been on the channel before. He's Dedrian Colon. Thank you so much for joining us, good brother.
Welcome.
Man,
good morning.
thank you guys for having me. It's fun. It's been a while since I've been on here, and it's actually been a while since I've recorded any content and everything. But man, I'm really good. I'm feeling great. There's a lot of wrestling going on, a lot of good stuff happening in professional wrestling, except for that stupid WWE draft. That's convoluted, but other than that, man, I'm glad you guys got me on here this Saturday morning to talk about what we love, and that's professional wrestling. Love it. And I got the setup here too. Little Usos right over here.
Looking good over there. I like the setup, indeed.
Thank you.
Well, no, we're very glad to have you, and happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
How was the birthday this week?
Oh man, it was really well. The cool thing that I do with my birthday every year is I don't celebrate it on the day because it's in the beginning of the month. So I celebrate it the whole month.
Hey,
like just go the whole month. So it's Taurus, May and everything. It's like, come on, you couldn't make it on May 5th? Oh no, we can go May 7th or May 9th or May 10th or what have you. And it's actually worked out a few times in the past several years. So it's cool. But man, I had fun. I spent time with my family. My mom and my dad and everything, and my girlfriend and everything, and just had fun, man. And counting my blessings and everything.
As you should. And we appreciate you joining us for the Saturday morning cookout. Like, we appreciate everyone watching us live. If you're watching us on demand, we appreciate you as well. Show your appreciation back. Drop the thumbs up on this video. Share this video with all your wrestling fans, friends, and family on all your favorite social media platforms. If you are new to the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell to stay notified for all the great content here. And of course, if you're with us live, you can sound off in the live chat. We love to highlight as many comments as possible. But if you're feeling generous, you want to give back to what we do here, help the channel grow, help out the contributors you see here every single day on the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel, then send a super chat donation. That will make sure we highlight your comment. And of course, it helps so much. We got Dolores in the chat saying, what's up, everyone? She's also with the plugs. Always appreciate Dolores for that. The other way you can help us out at patreon.com/Tru Heel Heat. $3 a month helps you get exclusive content, the Tru Heel Heat Prediction Championship, which I'll give you one guess, Krssi Luv. Who's on top of the Prediction Championship?
Is it you, of course?
A familiar face. This won 2 out of 3. 2 out of 3. I'm going for 3 out of 4. 3 out of 4, like the Los Angeles Lakers.
Oh, Lord.
God, why do you guys do this? Oh,
we got Negro Buck in the chat saying it's Saturday morning, and you know what that means. Time for some Tru Heel Heat.
Please, son.
Are
you okay?
Commanding the kids. Negro Buck.
Sorry, I wasn't Lakers. That damn.
No, not at all.
My bad. Sorry, guys.
Lakers in 5. We got Simeon saying Stephen Curry about to stomp a mud hole in LeBron's retirement dreams.
That's what I'm talking about, friends. That's right. Let these people know, okay? We'll see you. We'll see you in a few days.
Mid-South to NWA.
That's my guy.
Saying good morning. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate you. Negro Buck saying welcome back. Dedrian. We got also Negro Buck saying if they gotta lose to anybody, at least it will be Golden State. Other than Kobe, Steph is my GOAT. Simeon saying it's everyone's birthday in May. Mine is May 15th. Hey, he's got a birthday coming up too. Look at that.
Happy birthday, guys.
All the love. Mid-South to the NWA saying my birthday was May 1st. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Hey, there we go.
Y'all season right now.
Yep.
Love it. Love it. Love it. We got some birthday wishes to Dedrian in the chat. We got Ness showing his Boiqua side saying whippa. There you go. There you go. There you go, man. Everybody's in the chat.
Like the
Thank
Puerto Rican Day Parade.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wave the PR flags.
Yep.
And we got to shout out everyone who's supporting us on social media, the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel and Patreon, our Tru Heel Roll Call, how we start off every edition of this podcast, our top 3 conversation starters over on the Tru Heels group page on Facebook. We got Stewie Palmer at number 3, number 2, Alan Weinstein, and number 1, the Negro Buck, Nick Jackson. Our Patreon backers is Nick Jackson, ALW, Vala B, Alex McCarthy, Professor Chris, Austin K, You My Boy Blue, Yachty, Robert, Steve, Antoine, 5th Generation Carney, Ladarius, John, Dan, Kobe, Queen Monet, Dolores, John Martin, DJ Eric, Beat Boop, Marcus Ryan, Justin, Jennifer Jackson, Mrs. Mama Buck, and Alan Banky. Thank you so much to all of you for supporting us at patreon.com/Tru Heel Heat. But let's get into some wrestling from this past week. We're going to start off with AEW Dynamite, who did not do very well in the ratings going against the NBA playoffs.
I'm about to say the playoffs was on, guys. Like, come on.
Hey, they got battered. They did 776,000 viewers.
Everyone's watching the Knicks.
The lowest of 2023 so far for it, but I thought it was a really good show that progressed on the road to Double or Nothing, especially in the main event, which had Darby Allin and Jungle Boy defeating Sammy Guevara and MJF to set up the Pillars 4-way matchup for the AEW World Championship at AEW Double or Nothing coming up on May 28th. This was a great main event matchup and a nice preview of what we expect will be a tremendous main event match at Double or Nothing. You also had the opener, which had Adam Cole, Roderick Strong, Orange Cassidy, and Bandito teaming up in an 8-man tag to defeat the Jericho Appreciation Society's Daddy Magic, Kuhan Ange, Jake Hager, and Daniel Garcia. After the match, Cole went and jumped Chris Jericho at the commentary table before being escorted out of the building by security. You also had House of Black introduce the open house rules, which is new rules for their AEW Trios Championship matches moving forward, before the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass won the Tres de Mayo Battle Royale of all trios in this one. You had Saraya beat Willow Nightingale thanks to a distraction from the Outcast, but post-match, the Outcast jumped Willow until Hikaru Shida made her return. Fame joining the Outcast before Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter showed up, and Shida revealed it was all a ploy, laying out all 3 members of the Outcast with a kendo stick. A lot of big things happening on the show, a lot of progression as we head to AEW Double or Nothing in less than 3 weeks now. Krssi Luv, what was your highlight from this week's Dynamite?
Definitely the main event was excellent. I really enjoyed it. Shida coming back was great. I thought she was gonna fall with her shoes on. I was like, girl, like, you running down. I was like, where are you going? Like, just take them off. But overall, great episode. Too bad they didn't do great in the ratings because it's basketball season, friends. So, sports
and
time.
It doesn't get easier next week when they're going against Game 5 of the Knicks and Heat and the Lakers and Warriors. So it's gonna be tough.
It's gonna be tight.
I mean, it's games on right tonight. You know what I'm saying? Like the pay-per-view happening. There's a lot of shit happening right now. So it's a hard time for wrestling.
What about you, Dedrian? What was your highlight and low light from this week's Dynamite?
Oh man, the highlight for me had to be when Adam Cole won the match and just sprinted out the ring and just attacked Chris Jericho. I was like, yo, I've been waiting for stuff like this on Dynamite for the past 3 years. Like, this was so organic and intense. I'm like, this is good television. The low point of the show, man, it's hard to say. Like the last couple of episodes have been, you can tell that they're really putting a cohesive show together. And it's actually good that they're doing it while the NBA playoffs are on, because usually once the playoffs are over with, their ratings go right back up. So once people come back, it's like, oh, wow, this is a very cohesive show.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And we still don't know what's going to happen, next month with, the whole Collision thing and how that shapes out and everything. But overall, I really enjoyed this show. It was really good. I liked the story progression of the 4 Pillars match and just how it led to the main event. It's kind of predictable, but it's like, you know what? This is a good predictable. It's like, we want to see the
right.
So
we wanted this. Yes.
Like, I'll take it. It was good, but overall, it was a really good show. I enjoyed it, and I can tell that they're on to some more stuff in the future. So
yes, the Blackpool Combat promo.
Oh,
wow,
I love that promo.
I mean, that shit was amazing. I'm sorry I didn't talk about that.
Moxley needs to start rapping because he got the bars. He said higher levels bring out bigger devils. I was like, bars. Drop the mic right there.
Mic drop. That's it. Yep.
You know what?
Y'all messed up, right? Y'all know y'all messed up, right? Because I didn't say the real highlight of the show, right?
Oh, what we get? What we missed?
The real highlight of the show.
Oh, I forgot about this.
Briscoe Chicken Farm. This was one of the most hilarious segments outside of the ring AEW has ever put together.
This was great.
The fact that nationally known hater of AEW and Tony Khan, Jimmy Macaram on AE Ramble, I thought he was gonna disagree. He firmly agreed. This was the most hilarious segment AEW has done in quite some time.
When I saw the grandpa, I was like, yo, this is gold. This is who did this? They was like, oh, watch the one with the overall. He was like, well, they all like
which one?
Right.
No, my favorite part is the beginning when they pull up and he has the baby in his hand. He's like, "Oh, that's a beautiful baby girl." Boy.
Oh,
man. I walked out so much watching this. I literally me and Jimmy both agreed. We went back and watched it a second time because we were like, was it really that good, or were we just in the moment and high on the show? But no, that was the most hilarious segment.
It was good.
And it was random out of nowhere. Sorry.
Yeah. I was taking notes and I look up, I'm like, what the hell? And as soon as I seen them at the comp, I'm like, oh, please let the dad be there. Please let the dad be there. Because he was hilarious in their Ring of Honor videos. And when I saw him, I'm like, oh God, this is gold. Please keep filming at their farm. Please, because this is freaking hilarious. It was, oh my God, it was so hilarious.
He's like, y'all want to help today? You for real? Like right now? Okay, come on, let's go. It's so good. And it's like, I wonder if they just did that like one take. Like, did they do like several takes? Or like, I feel like it was like so naturally. Someone was just like recording them as they were just like going.
I need the unedited version. Yes. You need an unedited version with bloopers.
The bloopers.
Oh man, I was so great. It was so great. Oh man, how did they
find overalls for Homeboy? What's his name? Yes, yo, and he's so tall. Like, yo, he's. Well, I don't even know. Like,
best thing on AEW this week, in my opinion. I love that segment.
Yes, you're right.
Even our producer just messages us and says that shit was great. Yes, it was pure. It was really like an Impact Wrestling out of the ring segment on AEW television. Like, tone was perfect. Mark Briscoe was great. Planet Jarrett was awesome. Oh man, great stuff. But
he had a great picture too. Like, he had the baby on his lap, and they just like he's singing the song. That's so
he was like, I'm gonna play my number one smash hit and with my baby tonight, and they're with a baby.
Yes,
great stuff. But we also got to talk about the big news from the week, which is AEW all-in ticket sales went on sale this week. First, with pre-sale days starting on Tuesday. PW Insider provided an update on the initial ticket sales that started on Tuesday. According to the report, multiple sources have confirmed that the ticket pre-sale first day had already upwards of 34 to 35,000 tickets for the upcoming event scheduled on August 27th this summer at Wembley Stadium. AEW had already shattered their all-time attendance record on that first day of pre-sale tickets. With their previous record was 20,177 people for the AEW Dynamite Grand Slam event that took place at Arthur Ashe Stadium in New York City in 2021. Even if the event doesn't sell another ticket, the company had already surpassed its previous attendance record.
Right.
At that point, AEW had already likely set a record for the largest non-WWE or New Japan live attendance for a professional wrestling event since the days of WCW running the Georgia Dome. The July 6, 1998 WCW Monday Nitro show at the Georgia Dome featured Hulk Hogan versus Goldberg, had an announced attendance of 41,412 people. WWE's last event at Wembley Stadium was SummerSlam 1992, which had an announced attendance of 80,355 people. Later on Tuesday, Tony Khan, though, he was back in his messaging board. He was doing his thing on Twitter when he fired some shots at an ESPN reporter for his claim that All In Wembley is only scaled for 40,000 seats. ESPN's Mike Coppinger posted to Twitter in response to the news of AEW's big pre-sale day, saying, quote unquote, hearing Wembley is scaled for only 4,000 for AEW. Far cry from last April when I was ringside for Tyson Fury and Dylan White, and it was packed to the brim with 94,000. Nothing beats the big fight feel at Wembley. As you can imagine, that didn't sit well with Tony Khan, who has a history of being very outspoken on Twitter. Khan replied to Coppinger with 2 tweets. First one saying, lies, what a load of crap. Tell your agent, Nick Khan, to shove it up your ass. Since then, he came back with another tweet where he said, since you carry the credentials of a credible reporter, plus represent the worldwide leader, I'm just curious, who was your source for this? And how can a reporter representing ESPN tweet something about a legit news story that's so blatantly wrong and easily verified as a falsehood? Khan also gave a ticket update between his comments to Coppinger, where he said, today was one of the best days at AEW history. Thank you to all buying AEW All In tickets today. Off to an amazing start. Already 36,000 sold for 3.8 million pound, which comes out to 4.7 million American dollars. And we're only getting started. More great seats are going on sale. Let's celebrate tomorrow on Wednesday, hashtag AEW Dynamite. In a post on Twitter on Wednesday, the second day of the pre-sale tickets, AEW CEO Tony Khan announced that AEW has sold over 43,000 tickets in pre-sales after the second day. This comes after the pre-sale sold 35,000 in the event had already generated 5.7 million in revenue for AEW. And then we came to the general public sale, which was yesterday, and AEW All In has already reached 60,000 tickets sold from the first day of sales to the general public. Tony Khan announced the numbers on Twitter on Friday, and he said, thanks to amazing support from our fans, hashtag AEW All In London at Wembley Stadium has already sold 60,000 tickets for 6.1 million pounds, which comes out to 7.7 million American dollars. This is one of the greatest success stories in wrestling history. There are still great tickets that are on sale now. See you all on 27/8/23, August 27, 2023. The company topped 50,000 tickets sold during the pre-sale on Wednesday, and Chris Jericho also commented on the numbers where he said, they said we couldn't do it, and yet here we are at 60,000 tickets sold by the first day of general sales. At AEW has generated a monster, and I plan to lead the charge. See you in August at Wembley Stadium. This is like I think it's actually factual. It's not Tony Khan being a promoter. It's one of the most biggest success stories because once again, with the all-in kind of name of the event, people said it couldn't be done. They weren't going to sell it out. So my question to you, Dedrian, knowing that they've already sold 60,000 tickets, I've seen other reports on Twitter where people saying that they are probably closer to 70,000 tickets sold without even a match announced for the event. Do you think AEW will sell out AEW All In at Wembley Stadium?
I will say yes. And the reason why, it goes back to, I don't know if you guys remember this interview that the Young Bucks did back in 2019 for Double or Nothing. And they were talking about ticket sales. And they were talking about they had 60,000 people in the queue for Double or Nothing. And they're like, wow, if we would have known that, we would have had a stadium.
Got more seats, yeah.
Mind you, that was with that roster.
I think that was All Out, actually, because I remember I was trying to get tickets for that.
Okay.
Yeah, and
it was like, one of the two, but they did have like 60,000 people in the queue. And, you know, thinking back, I'm like, well, if they had 60,000 in the queue for that roster, how much more are they going to have for this roster? Like, they're going to get to close to 80,000. I wouldn't be shocked if they get even closer to full capacity because, mind you, most people that criticize the event and everything, they're like, oh, it's a failure. It's like, whatever, shut up. They haven't announced a match yet. That's the thing.
Yeah, they don't even know the card.
Yeah, once we get to Double or Nothing, then we get to Forbidden Door. Once after Forbidden Door, then it's like, okay, what are the matches are going to be? Who's going to come in? And everything is like, ooh, this is going to be good. And they're making it very unique. They're not having a, you know, whatever their Saturday show is or Dynamite there. They're having it a must-see event. So you have to get a ticket for this event, which is very smart. So you're not diluting, you know, your whole time in England. It's like, okay, we're here for this one event. This is where you have to go. So, yeah, I think they could easily get to 80,000 as the matches are announced. And whatever the main event is, they can get to 90,000. Easy.
I think that it's very possible now. It's just stunning they did this well on like the pre-sale, the general public sale. It just shows you that that part of the world is so hungry for these events. They had a similar kind of 30,000 tickets sold on the first week for Clash at the Castle, which is in a farther place. It's not really a central kind of tourist attraction like London, England is for Wembley Stadium. It's such a historic building as well. How impressed are you by this first week sales for AEW All In, Krssi Luv? And do you think they're going to be able to sell out Wembley Stadium?
It's very impressive. I was like, can they do it? Because when I remember them announcing, I was like, can y'all even sell this event out? I'm like, because I was sitting at Dynamite, and I was like, this ain't sold out. I mean,
but that's like the fifth or sixth time they've been in Long Island. This is the first event in the UK. That's the difference.
Well, again, they told me to shut up because they look what they sold, and they'll probably sell out more. So, you know, I've eaten my word. So I'm excited for them. And again, people that are, you know, on that side of the world can now, like, they don't have to come to the States. They can go there. You know, it should be like, so I definitely, they'll think that they'll get very, very close to 90. And then you have to remember, like, they're not going to do the whole arena because they have to do the staging of one side. So that's like, you know, you have to like think of those tickets that they block off once they put their, you know, their stage together. So I think it's definitely easy as they get close. I mean, again, we don't even know the card and people are just like, you know what, I want to be in this building. And I think that is like, it speaks for itself. So if they can do this, then eat crow, people, like I did.
I got a question. So, have you seen the seating chart that WrestleTix posted?
No.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so they have it where it's almost similar to how WWE had Clash at the Castle entrance.
Okay,
where it's straight, so nothing's blocked off. So I think they might be going for the visual, like the soccer visual, of like the crowd, and just have a small entrance. So if they have it like that, they're gonna get 90,000. If they have it like their traditional Grand Slam, you know, they block off, they tarp it off and everything.
Right, exactly.
80,000. Easy.
Okay.
Yeah. I think if you're Tony Khan, aka Petty Khan, you're gonna try to beat the SummerSlam 1992 record, which is feasible at this point. After the first week gets you over 60,000 without a match announced, and we still have the announcement of where this show is gonna be on, which I suspect I got to talk to Brandon Thurston of WrestleNomics yesterday on Fightful Overbooks in the Weeds, and he talked about how the Warner Upfronts is on May 17th, and he believes that's when the announcement for the new Saturday show AEW Collision is going to be made, and he also believes that it's going to be the announcement that AEW All In is going to be on the former HBO Max, now referred to as Max. So that's going to be a big kind of testing pilot for if AEW is going to be a featured attraction on Max in the future, which will only help its expansion in the way that it's going right now, and future maybe special events, maybe pay-per-views can be on Max if that's a success. So this can be an even further success, not just with the ticket sales, but if they're able to get more subscriptions for Max and maybe potentially get their other content, their older content, their library for AEW and also maybe ROH on Max, this may be the biggest event in wrestling history because of what it means to the second biggest promotion in the business.
True.
Yes. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be a huge success. And mind you, one thing that I do like that AEW is doing is that they're going to different cities for these major events. They're not having everything in Chicago, Vegas, what was the other?
Their
Long
usual
Island or
places,
what have you.
yes.
Like, if you think about it, it's like, okay, they're going to Vegas for Double or Nothing. They're going to Toronto for Forbidden Door. They're going to London for All In. And they're going to Chicago for All Out. Those are all major metropolitan cities. That is beautiful marketing right there.
Yeah, and they're going to these places where they're able to do these big numbers, because I also suspect they're going to do United Center for All Out now. They're moving past the Now Arena era of doing All Out there, which, it's sad to see it go because I was there at All In, the first ever event at Now Arena for, this group of people, but they needed to grow. And if they sell out United Center again with All Out, if they sell out United Center for the June 17th debut of Collision on a rumor again by CM Punk, that's going to be so big for this company that despite maybe, like Krssi said, maybe their show in Long Island or maybe the smaller markets, they're not sold out. That's all fine and dandy. If they can keep doing this for their major events, it's going to mean something for the company. They are not at the place of WWE, who also is kind of thriving when it comes to selling out tickets, selling out their house shows, their pay-per-views. They've been doing great business, but for the future of the business, you also need that number 2 to be doing well. So this is nothing but great news.
Yes, and as a Chicagoan, I am so glad they're moving it to the United Center, because it's literally, so for those of you who aren't from Chicago, where I'm at, I'm pretty much in the Logan Square area where they have a lot of the wrestling events at the Logan Square Auditorium. So I'm literally in the center of the city. It is a 45-minute ride from where I'm at to Hoffman Estates and back. So from where I'm at to the United Center, that's about a 15-20-minute ride with traffic.
And that's with traffic.
And I can take the train. Yeah, I can take the train to the United Center. So I'm all for it, man. I am. Thank you, Jesus.
Nothing but good news for AEW, and we still don't even know what they're gonna do for Full Gear. And like I said, with the Warner Upfronts coming up and AEW All In possibly being on Max, that might lead to maybe an expansion. And they're still got to do their TV rights deal this year. There's a lot of big stuff that's going to be coming besides what we're talking about here with AEW All In. But that can be the thing, the kind of the first domino drop, which gets them on a roll in a bit. We got the Negro Bucks, and this is huge for them. We got Bro, who says all those tickets sold with one Kenneth Omega front and center. You know it, brother. You know it, baby. Kenneth Omega. The man who did nothing wrong. The man who did nothing wrong in the whole brawl out situation. I want to bring that up again. The Negro Buck who said they need Will Ospreay for All In. They don't need anything. I wouldn't say they need any. They did not announce a match, so they don't need anything. You could say you want Will Ospreay
a match. Yeah, you want him to be there.
You want him to be on there, but you can't say they need. No, that is incorrect. They don't need a Will Ospreay off this card.
No, they don't.
No,
they don't.
He also says, "Oh my God, please! The Max deal would be huge." Yeah,
I would get Max if they well, somebody gonna give me their Max. Like,
hey. So I just wanted to put it out there. Remember, last time Kenny Bolin was on the show, he offered that. I've been using his Max for over like a year and a half. Anyway,
I didn't hear anything. I didn't hear anything.
No, y'all ain't hear nothing. Y'all ain't hear anything. Y'all ain't hear anything.
I didn't hear anything.
Bro says, I wonder if Tony Khan is enough of a madman to try the Tokyo Dome. I think that he's pretty safe with like working with New Japan in Japan for those type of shows. We might be a years away before he even tries to do something like that. But we could see more arena show, maybe stadium shows in like America or maybe overseas. I know that he wants to do Caven Cottage, which is the home of his football team over there in the UK. He wants to do that, but it was smart to do Wembley Stadium because this was the show that was going to get the most interest from those fans, and it shows by 60,000 in less than a week, basically.
Yes,
amazing stuff. We got in the chat here, the Simeon saying the Elite sold out Wembley. It's just a pure fact. No, Jay White did. Jay White sold out Madison Square Garden. He sold out United Center, and now he sold out Wembley. He signs with AEW.
Yep.
They're about to sell out Wembley Stadium. He did it again.
That's the golden egg. He is the golden egg of professional wrestling.
The catalyst of professional wrestling. You love to see it. But not the only AEW major news from this week. It was previously reported that AEW is set to premiere a new Saturday show on TNT, which will be called AEW Collision from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern. The reports were that a roster split would happen with the creation of the new show, with CM Punk on one show and the Elite on another. It is also believed that AEW has effectively canceled AEW Dark and Dark Elevation as they prepare to launch this new show, according to Andrew Zarian. The Wrestling Observer newsletter reports that the roster split will not be as strict as previously believed. For instance, AEW doesn't believe there is enough star power in the women's division to do a hard roster split there. As for Punk, while he will be on Collision most weeks, he will still be on Dynamite when needed, and those who have issues with Punk would be on Collision the week he appears on Dynamite. AEW is working to get everyone to resolve their issues, but if it either hasn't happened yet or it hasn't made significant progress. It was noted that things could change as everything is up in the air, and meanwhile the plan is to have Rampage become what Dark and Dark Elevation were, a way to showcase younger talent. Dynamite and Rampage would be taped together on Wednesdays, while Collision and ROH will tape together on Saturday nights. So this is kind of talking about like the roster split, where we thought it would be, okay, the Punk crew is going to be on Saturdays. The Elite crew would be on Wednesday. But I kind of talked about it with Jimmy Macaram in private. Their roster is not strong enough to kind of keep that contained, where only these people are on Wednesdays, only these people on Saturdays. Saturdays is a big risk because of all the things we talked about previously when we talked about it with, people having lives, some people having lives, not that many in the wrestling community, at least like 15, 20%. But there are other things. There's sports. sports. There is, you know, WWE pay-per-views, UFC pay-per-views that come out on Saturdays, and Wednesday still needs to be their premiere night. They still need to draw a certain number. They were consistently doing over 800. When they had CM Punk, they were consistently doing the 900 to 1,000,000. And now, you know, this past week against the NBA playoffs, they dipped under that 800,000 mark. They don't have the star power to maintain, you know, a great rating. And if you bring CM Punk back and you're only keeping on Saturdays, you're basically handicapping the Wednesday night show. So what do you think about how they're going to work this whole roster split, Dedrian?
It's very interesting you asked me that. I was going to answer it previously, what you were talking about with AEW. I think they're going to do a really good job. What I've noticed when I'm doing like the stats of how many wrestlers are on the show and everything, I noticed that on Dynamite and Rampage, they use about 48% of their roster. So they're not even using their full roster. So with the additional 2 hours, that other 52%, whatever, can be used on Collision, and you can really spread out the roster and everything. I think it's going to be good, considering ever since we've gone out of back to live events from the pandemic and everything, most of the Saturday shows for not only WWE, AEW, Impact, all of them have done pretty good. And I think what it is it's more, you don't have to go to work. You know, with Dynamite, it's on a Wednesday. It's on a night that historically, television-wise, outside of wrestling, it hasn't been must-see TV night. So that's been one of their battles since they've started Dynamite. And then, of course, everyone has to go to work the next day and everything. But I do think this Saturday show, I think it's going to be what Nitro was to WCW Saturday night, where it becomes by proxy that A show, and Dynamite becomes that B show, where it's just that must-see TV. I think we're going to see a slight shift and everything. And you can tell, like, Dynamite, the way they've been doing their show and everything, it doesn't, I don't want to say B show because it's like less or anything, but it does have, like, they're developing the, how do I put it? Act 1, and then Rampage is Act 2, and then Collision's going to be that Act 3 where it's like, oh, this is where the major stuff happens. Oh, this is good. And I do think they're probably going to get more ticket sales on Saturday than Wednesday because of that. And it's like, you figure Sunday, hey, I ain't got to go to work Sunday or anything. Hey, let's go to Dynamite, you know, let's go to Collision and everything. So I do think it's going to be pretty successful.
Yeah, I don't see it in that way. I see more of like the new Saturday show kind of being like the SmackDown to Dynamite's Raw. I can see it eventually, you know, where SmackDown eventually became the better show than Raw, you know, even with using the same guys. I was just always looking forward to SmackDown a little bit more than I was looking forward to Raw. In that sense, I get where you're getting at, but I wouldn't say that you know, this is going to be WCW Saturday night, because when Nitro came out, WCW Saturday night, you didn't really need to watch it at all. I think they're going to always make sure that Dynamite is worth watching, because that's the show that kind of started it all. So that's why I think it's going to be more of the Raw to Collision being
not Thunder.
SmackDown.
Yeah.
No, not Thunder. Thunder was another one where just like
they shouldn't have never done that.
It was a good like 2-3 months where it was really good when it first started out. Like they did the whole angle where we found out what they were gonna do with Sting and Hogan after that debacle at Starrcade. Thunder, our producer messaged us to say
Thunder is Rampage.
Rampage,
that's true.
How they're saying Rampage is going to be now, and we'll talk about that a little bit more after we talk about this week's Rampage. I think that's going to be more of like the Thunder or the WWF Sunday Night Heat type of show, more than like the other way around. Krssi Luv, what do you think about the whole situation with Dark and Dark Elevation now being canceled due to, you know, what Andrew Zarian said in his tweet is that it's going to be canceled because WBD, Warner Brothers Discovery, wants exclusive ownership over AEW content. I think that's a huge huge thing in that. I think everybody was focused on, you know, Dark and Dark Elevation, which helped out a lot of careers of independent stars and younger guys on AEW. But I think the bigger thing in that is that Warner Brothers wants all of the AEW stuff on their stuff. I think that leads to everybody thinking that AEW is going to get, you know, a bigger deal on their TV rights negotiations. And I asked Brandon Thurston about it, and he says, like, right now AEW is under monetized for the amount of content that they are producing and the amount of money that they're getting from Warner Brothers. They're kind of cutting themselves short, and if there's nobody else bidding for them when their TV rights deal is up, it's going to hurt them because they are not probably getting the amount of money they really need.
That they should get.
What do you think about all of that, and what do you think the future is as far as their TV rights negotiations?
Well, I figured that they got rid of Dark and Elevation because they had to focus on the other things, so they didn't have more time. And then remember, they don't want to tape and have their wrestlers away for so long. Remember, their schedules are really like not as not as detailed as like WWE, where they're like on the road all the time. So I guess that's what I assume. That's why they got rid of it, because they don't want to go into having some of their wrestlers like be away and be taping for this show when they could be on the other shows that's going to be, you know, supposed to be drawing more people in. And then remember, that was online. This is now going to be somewhere where we can watch this from your regular just cable advisor or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Provider, excuse me. So, you know, something that's like, you know, on YouTube, but you know, this is now on a channel that everyone can now have access to, because some people don't always got the internet that they can do, you know, use. But I think this is a good thing. We'll see what happens. I hope that they can use all of their wrestlers, and you shared like numbers, like they're not even using everyone that they have. So now this is a platform where, you remember, you had ROH, so that's another like thing, like where more, you know, they could probably be on like a Saturday where they can probably give like ROH maybe like an hour, and then they mix them in, like, you know, certain things like that where you can just like go back and forth where they can like have showcase these wrestlers.
Yeah, you know, ROH being behind a paywall is always going to be kind of polarizing to most fans. And maybe in the future we can get, you know, ROH on YouTube. Maybe they need to fill in that spot on the AEW YouTube. That's not going to be having, you know, Dark and Dark Elevation any longer. But what do you think about the whole WBD wanting exclusive ownership over AEW content moving forward, Dedrian?
I like it. I understand it. I know some people who are AEW original fans, like, oh, it's like, no, it has to progress and everything. And one thing that I remembered is that they just recently started doing live event shows, you know, live house shows. So if you're doing house shows, you have ROH. Those two actually are Dark and Elevation. So you don't need
in a way.
Dark and Elevation.
You don't need them,
So I love it. I like it. I think this is going to be more beneficial for them in the long run, because look at what's happened since WWE's gone on Peacock. It's helped their brand even more. You see,
they've been needed something like this.
Yeah, like you see WWE on Sunday Night Football and everything, and it's constantly in rotation. So on AEW side, that's something that they're lacking. And I agree with Brandon Thurston, you know, they're under monetized and everything, because let's face it, Dynamite and Rampage, there are no replays on any Warner show.
No.
Yes.
With WWE, there's constant replays of SmackDown on FS1 and FS2. So if they can include that replay element of Dynamite, Rampage, and Collision.
And on the Fox app, if you have like the Fox regular app, you can go back and watch the whole like SmackDown with no issues or whatever. If you have the USA app,
way to watch old AEW pay-per-views,
unless you record
episode of
DVR
unless you record and you know, DVR it. But like, that's why I'm saying, like, that little
they need this.
That Zarian put in the fact that, you know, Thurston said that they're under monetized. I think that they need to, although I know Tony Khan wants to be loyal to Warner Brothers Discovery, but if he's just doing negotiations with them, they're gonna lowball him. So he needs to talk to somebody else who might give him a better deal, which would necessitate Warner Brothers Discovery to pay them what they are really valued.
Yeah.
Definitely.
needs to happen. We got a couple of comments to highlight here. We got King of the North who says WBD uploaded the full uncut version of the firm deletion on Bleacher Report, so it's already taking effect here. We got Bro who says, I'm gonna miss my Taz and Excalibur podcast with wrestling. The stone banter between them, between the two, made it must-see content for me. Yeah, that's when I discovered that Taz and Excalibur were a great duo. That, you know, I love Tony Schiavone, but probably the A team for Dynamite should be Taz and Excalibur, and then Tony can do like interviews and stuff like that if they really want to use him, even though he has a role backstage where he's one of the guys that is like closest to Tony Khan as far as like storyline progression and stuff like that. We also got King of the North who says ROH is going to be a completely different negotiation from AEW content. It's a totally different company, so it won't be bundled together. Yeah, Thurston did mention that that does not include Ring of Honor. So I think that's what I'm saying is that Ring of Honor, it, of course, is bringing in, you know, I think he said the last number he said was like 12 to 15,000 subscriptions to Honor Club strictly to watch like this ROH TV, which is great, but AEW Dark and Dark Elevation was getting upwards of like 50 to anywhere between 100,000 views every single week. So maybe if you want to get more eyes on Ring of Honor, you put it over there to kind of replace AEW Dark and Dark Elevation, or you split the tapings and you do one ROH show for Honor Club and one ROH show for YouTube or something like that. Maybe that is the future, because the roster, you have so many guys that are not used, and ROH has provided them with a platform for that, where Athena's the best women's champion in wrestling, and I keep saying that because every week on ROH TV she's great.
Yeah, she's hitting home runs every week.
This was the best move for her. Another one I need to have that's having a hot girl summer. She is.
Is saying if WBD have exclusive AEW rights, surely WBD 17th May executive announcement has AEW in a very strong position. Yeah, I suspect there's going to be the AEW Collision announcement for June 17th, the new Saturday show, and I do believe we're going to hear that All In is going to be available on Max, because it was very, I think everybody noticed who, you know, does wrestling media noticed immediately when they sent out the press release, it said nothing about Bleacher Report or being on pay-per-view. So that was the red herring that this is going to be available on something.
That's the red flag.
Yeah.
It's like the graphic.
It's flowing really fast now. Like,
when
it's over here, guys.
When they release the graphic, you know, you're automatically looking for the, you know, where it's going to be Bleacher Report, and there's like, wait a minute, there's no Bleacher. Where is this air? Oh, HBO Max. Oh,
okay. Yeah.
Let me sit back and wait for this announcement, because more than likely it's going on there.
Yeah.
Exactly. We got mid South to NWA saying the only issue is that Peacock is hemorrhaging money. The key with Peacock is that it's available to 21 million subscribers. That is so much more than what the WWE Network had. WWE Network capped off at like 2 million when it was at its height. So this is so much bigger for WWE, and it's helped them in a way. There's some correlation to WWE's, you know, house show success and how many people is buying tickets because of how available Peacock is to them. And and the biggest hint is that every single pay-per-view, the most watched edition of this pay-per-view, it's because they're on Peacock now.
Yeah.
And we got Mid-South to NWA saying, I don't think Warner Brothers can afford to lowball them. It will be a tough negotiation, but it's live show that gets a good rating every single week. For 52 weeks, they don't have that. This is very true. Very true as well. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that we're going to talk more about as time goes on. But we got even one more little bit of news before we get into Rampage. And of course, it's about that time again. You know what time it is, Miss Krssi Luv. It's time for another episode of The Punk and the Restless. The Punk and the Restless. New episode here, as Stifle Select has informed and PW Insider confirmed that Saturday night CM Punk was backstage at Impact Wrestling at Cicero Stadium in Chicago. He was there to visiting after previously visiting WWE Raw last week. He was welcomed there and brought in by security and past several fans. He even took pictures with Jordan Grace and Ricky Morton, and apparently he played Uno with some of the Impact wrestlers. Yes, CM Punk playing Uno backstage. He was there for the in-ring debut of Trinity Fatu, who also had their Mercedes Moné and Tamina were also there to support him. She knew that Tamina and Mercedes Moné would be there, but she had no clue about CM Punk showing up there. She said that she got a big hug from Punk, and he was very nice and welcoming and had a bunch of kind words to various Impact stars while he was there. Miss Krssi Luv, what do you think about CM Punk's PR tour, where he is showing up on every promotion backstage except AEW right now?
He's being his true authentic self as a troll. That's all it is. What can you say? I mean, listen, they're going to invite him. He's going to come. Like, you want to come to our show? Sure. I'll be there. Don't worry. I need 2 tickets. I'll be there. Don't worry. Like,
be there with bells on. Don't worry.
Bells on. Like, he's like, he don't have a care in the world. He don't give a shit what people will talk about. I love
what they
it.
Talking about? He don't care.
He don't care. Like, it's great shit. Like, he's just out here. He's soaking it all in. Like, it's like he's like Donald Trump, like a press tour, like just is waving the white flag. I'm here, guys. Hello. I'm neutral. Hey.
Oh, Dedrian, what do you think about your Chicago brethren, CM Punk showing up at Impact backstage?
All right. So first things first, SP, I'm going to help you out with this because people from Chicago are going to have a fit with it. So the name of the stadium is Cicero Stadium.
Cicero.
That's how you pronounce
Cicero.
it. I don't have a problem with it, but I know people, how did he
get that wrong? Yeah, well, it's because I've never been there.
Yeah. It's right. What's funny is that I actually worked down the street from there like 10 years ago. So it was like, oh wow, CM Punk's there. You know what? I'm loving it, man. I'm loving it. I know a lot of people, there's been this back and forth discourse of the Elite are wrong, CM Punk's wrong. They haven't, come together. It's like, look, AEW just sold close to 70,000 tickets at All In. They're about to sell out full or Forbidden Door. They're going to have a good, run at Double or Nothing. They probably talked already because there's a lot of money on the table this whole summer.
Yeah.
For him, I mean, it's a PR stunt, man. This is
that's
genius.
all is a This
is genius. And think about it. He hasn't said one word.
Nope. He ain't got to.
Talking about him, but him.
Yep.
That's genius. That is the best type of marketing.
This is much better than writing and deleting Instagram posts. I'll give him that.
Yes.
I'll give him that.
Yes.
Much better use of your time, Punk. That's what I
Yes. Yes. And I think it's smart of him to do this. It's generating buzz for AEW. And, when he comes back, I honestly feel that when he does return, there's more of a infrastructure, solid stories for him to go into AEW than when he first, arrived and everything. Because when he first came, it was like, oh, it was hoopla. But if you really look at the stories outside of it, it was just like, well, this isn't this. They have solid stories in AEW right now where once you put him in there, now it's like, okay, who is he going to
face?
And he's got the bald head, so it's like, oh, we're getting 2013 CM Punk. Okay, this is gonna be all right. Let's see how this goes. So it's smart on his part, and if he does or when he does return, that number at All In, is gonna go up.
Gonna go up. Yeah, it can only go up from here for sure. But him playing Uno was my favorite part of the story.
You don't even think of that. It's like, what?
Okay, everyone loves Uno. That is like an American treasure right there.
Yeah, but you would think he would play dominoes or something. Like, that would be the thing.
He ain't Puerto Rican. You accepted him to the Puerto Rican delegation?
No, here, let me tell you something. In Chicago, besides, actually, outside of Uno, it would be spades. That would be the logical thing.
There you go. Yeah.
That would be the logical thing. But
that would be the card game you would play.
Yeah, it's like Uno.
Nah, you playing pity bet.
It's like draw two. It's like
Mary Mac. Oh, imagine him and Tommy Dreamer playing Miss, man, playing numbers.
Oh
yeah, numbers would have been nice. Yeah, I can see numbers for sure.
I wonder if they got Hungry Hippo back there. That'd be hilarious.
Oh man.
Just
so many great games. We got the anti-CM Punk brigade in the chat. The King of the North saying "Criminal Man Punk." Elite Gang or Don't Bang.
Oh my! That should be a T-shirt.
Elite Gang or Don't Bang. Absolutely.
Oh my God.
Me and saying Matt Jackson has been breaking my heart on All Access, his sad self doing pre-tape interview. He's like so sad because he's like, I have to keep mentioning I got suspended, but I can't tell why I got suspended.
Man, you know what? I've watched every episode and I find it so interesting and somewhat coincidental that they're discussing the whole inadvertently the CM Punk thing, and it's like, and he's about to come back, like, I'll reserve my judgment, but it's very interesting how that's lining up with him returning, and that was recorded back then, and it's just like, you know what? I'm a longtime wrestling fan. People are gonna work. I'll just
a work is a work. A work is a work, y'all.
People are gonna work.
Yeah.
People are gonna work. It is what it is.
Yep. Work is a work. But let's talk about AEW Rampage from last night, and might have had the funniest match of the year as the firm deletion went down. And bravo to everyone involved. I sent the thank you to.
They went to the compound, right?
To Rebby Hardy. This was probably my favorite since either the actual final deletion or tag team Apocalypto. We didn't get the Lake of Incarnation, which would have been great if Big Bill went in there and he came out with Enzo. That would have been great. That's the only thing I would have had. But we had Orgasmic Isaiah, who got the attention of the firm by moaning, and then did a dive off the dome of Hardy, and then Matt Hardy told him, Orgasmic Isaiah, I knew you'd come, brother. And then Isaiah says, I always do, my brother. And Stokely Hathaway was the goddamn MVP.
Yes.
As always.
He goes into the movie theater of the Hardys and he says, I wonder if they got Coming to America. then Rebby, he gets confronted by Gothic Baby, and he says, I'm Gothic Man, what you got for me? And then he gets confronted by Rebby, who's speaking in Spanish. He was like, what you say about my mama? He was like, I don't know what you say, but I take it as a public offense. And he got stun gunned by Senior Benjamin before getting jumped by Matt Hardy's kids, where he said, Tony Khan, you're gonna pay for your crimes.
I have to go watch this now.
Oh man, this is too funny.
He got a twist of fate from Rebby, and he got the Swanton Bomb by King Maxwell, and Maxwell had to go to bed afterwards because it was past bedtime.
He was probably in bed already, and he got woken up.
And of course, in the end, Matt Hardy, Jeff Hardy, Orgasmic Isaiah, and Hook got the win over the firm's Ethan Page, Big Bill, Lee Moriarty, and Stokely Hathaway. Special appearances by all of the House of Hardy. This was great stuff. Go out of your way to watch it. Bleacher Report has a full uncut version, like King of the North said on the chat of this. I watched the version on Rampage. I still need to watch the uncut version because I know there's even more stuff to laugh at. This was hilarious. You also had Mark Briscoe beat Preston Vance in a solid bout. You had El Hijo del Vikingo getting the win with the Lucha Bros over QTVs, QT Marshall, Aaron Solo, and Powerhouse Hobbs in a fun trios opener as well.
Dedrian lose now. Damn.
Hey, they got it. Well, Hobbs didn't technically lose. You know how they do. Someone else takes the pin. He's fine. But
okay, that's true.
Hey, Vikingo and Lucha Bros. That's a dream team. I'm glad they got this showcase here. But Dedrian, you watched the firm deletion. What did you think about this? This was just wacky nuts, but I loved every minute of it.
Man, you took the words out of my mouth. Stokely Hathaway. That man needs to be more on TV. His comedic timing reminds me of Bobby Heenan. That it's so freaking hilarious, man. Throughout the whole thing, like when he ran away when King Maxwell was on the big wheel and he chased him down, I was like, what the? I was like, King Maxwell? He's like, he just run. Oh, man, his one-liners and everything. Like, man, he is so hilarious. His facial expressions, him in the ring, he's like, what? And it's like, man, this was very entertaining. I know some people are like, oh, it's the ultimate, like, whatever. This was the entertainment that AEW needed, and going forward, I hope they do more of this sporadically. Because outside of the great matches that they have and everything, and they have all these storylines and stuff like this, this is the comedic element that AEW is kind of lacking in as far as comedic elements, the comedic entertainment, and this was just so fun. And it was actually one thing I noticed about this match was that Jeff Hardy didn't do too much like diving or anything. He was more brawling and everything. I was like, okay, I don't want to see Jeff diving and breaking himself and everything. I was like, bro, you're close to 50 and everything. Like, bro,
do more of these matches where you don't have to take all those bumps.
And I hope
and you're fine.
Yeah, I hope this match is the beginning of them having the Hardys go into the Broken Universe. So use that as like the character change and everything. Similar to what, actually in a better way, of what The Fiend was doing in WWE, where whenever he put the Manimal Claw on with his left hand or right hand, that wrestler would change. I would do that with Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy, with like an upcoming wrestler.
I would love that.
That sounds great, yeah.
Also had the cameo from the Omega guys like Caprice Coleman, who was one of the referees during the matchup. So many little tidbits that throughout this was so much fun. I loved every minute of this. But yeah, Invader Ace saying I wanted Karate Man, Enzo, and Hook become Taz, but it was still great thanks to Stokely. Stokely is a damn star. He just needs to be on television more because it's just so naturally funny. He just makes me laugh. And Tony Khan, you will pay for your crimes. The best delivery I've heard of a line on wrestling.
I hope he had fun doing this.
You know he did. He's getting jumped by kids. He was getting jumped by little kids.
Man.
He's the best babysitter.
You know what? I want to know how many retakes they had to do with him.
Right.
Because he was making everybody laugh and the kids were laughing. Like again, like I think it's underestimated. I think because we were so used to seeing Paul Heyman and everything being so serious.
Right. Yes.
Stokely Hathaway, if AEW gives him enough time and puts him in the main event picture, he can become this generation's Bobby Heenan. He has all the tools and everything.
He certainly does.
I can see it. I can see it.
Some news for AEW coming off of Rampage or before Rampage. A new Fightful Select report had provided the following tidbits from AEW talking about the Rampage now that AEW Dark and Dark Elevation are going to be scrapped. They said that it's expected to settle into a combination of successful elements from AEW Dark, Dark Elevation, and Rampage going further. Sources also indicate that AEW Dynamite and Collision will likely not suffer dramatic brand splitting, although the future path for those shows will probably clarify over the weekend. And we got Roderick Strong, who made his AEW debut last week, surprising those who assumed he was still part of WWE. According to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Strong's deal with WWE expired in November. However, most people working there didn't know that, as he was still listed on WWE WWE.com's roster on the night he debuted in All Elite Wrestling. Strong reportedly tried to give notice before his contract expired and was turned down. The angle in which he was injured was originally believed to be a way to write him off due to injury. Instead, it was meant as his farewell from NXT, as WWE knew he wouldn't be signing a new deal. Strong had been hurt, however, which is why he didn't show up until last week. He was planned to be in AEW for some time just after the return of Adam Cole, and almost no one in WWE knew Strong had left and were shocked when he appeared on Dynamite. His debut was kept quiet and he was hidden backstage before it even happened. What do you think again, Krssi Luv? WWE, another instinct. It feels like it was just yesterday, but it was like 2 years ago. The similar thing kind of happened with Malachi Black, where he just appeared out of nowhere because WWE didn't know he had a 60-day non-compete clause instead of he had a 30-day non-compete clause instead of a 90-day non-compete clause. And then we have Roderick Strong here, where they knew he wasn't going to sign a new deal, and he leaves the company from right under their ear.
They're not that because they're not like one of the bigger guys. They were injured. They were like, oh, we don't have to worry about them. Or they just someone missed, instead of putting a 6, they put a 3, and they were just like, yeah, paperwork is done. Like, it's over here. Like, someone kind of was like, it was probably like an accident, and it was like, oh wait, what is he doing there? Like, let me go find the paperwork in a bit. So somebody got in trouble, probably for fucking that shit up. Listen, they probably was not worried about Roderick Strong at all. They was like, okay, we're not doing anything with him anyway. So I think that's really where it would happen, to be honest. Like, they're like, okay, we're not doing anything with him anyway. So I don't think they really cared about the clause because they knew that they wasn't going to bring him back regardless.
Seems like it. That's definitely their whole mind state when it comes to that. And then the final AEW news is they had another big signing this week with our good friend who's been on the channel before from Fightful's Grab City, Will Washington, becoming All Elite. AEW announced the signing of a new wrestling administrative coordinator, and it was Will Washington. Tony Khan announced it on Wednesday, where he said he's the new AEW wrestling administration coordinator, working in many areas of wrestling, including live events, social media, creative, PR. He has a great wrestling mind. He's here backstage tonight at Wednesday night, hashtag AEW Dynamite, live on TBS, and an official at William RBR is All Elite. Washington is really a pioneer as one of the first wrestling podcasters from his work at RBR Wrestling, and most recently working for Fightful, and was the co-host of the Grab City podcast. The Wrestling Observer newsletter had more information on Washington's hiring and what his role in the company will include. It was noted that Washington drew Khan's interest because of his knowledge of wrestling, and Khan reportedly had his eye on hiring him for a while. Washington was described as a longtime message board person, as well as a tape trader type who has a strong memory of dates and wrestling facts. And I've done podcasts with Will. He's so good when it comes to just knowing a certain date of a historic event in wrestling, whether it be AEW, WWE. As for what he'll be doing in AEW, he is expected to help Tony Khan with creative, and he will assist in writing the shows, keeping talent more visible, and keeping storylines organized. Essentially, he's there to lighten some of the load for Khan, who had been booking 5 hours of AEW TV by himself, as well as around 90 minutes a week of ROH, plus pay-per-views. And Khan has also used help from Sanjay Dutt, QT Marshall, Pat Buck, and Tony Khan, as well as key talent who have input on their angles. While Khan has the final say, he realized that the increase in workload made it necessary to bring in some help. Dedrian, what do you think about Will Washington, someone, from our background, from the wrestling media world, now helping Tony Khan with creative, which is something that's been needed for quite some time?
Man, first off, I love it because of the representation. There's so many Black content creators and just Black wrestling fans that have an immense of knowledge of professional wrestling that don't get the opportunity. I love it. I've heard him on Grab City podcast and everything. His knowledge and everything, and his detail and his attention to detail and everything it's going to be a huge asset to AEW, and the names that you mentioned that help Tony Khan and everything. I like it because with that, there's a sense of diversity, and then also with the people he brought in for the women's division, there is a diversity there. I think that's why some of the ratings, people look at the ratings and like, oh, it's going up and down. I think what it is that AEW to professional wrestling to some people is a culture clash, where it's not your typical wrestling where you probably see most of the wrestlers are only one complexion and everything. Like, you look at AEW, there is a variety, and it's not saying other companies aren't like that, but you look at it, you get a sense of, man, they represent me. It's not being forced or anything. It's being like, no, it's being with thought, care, detail, and with a plan. Like, hey, we want to present this person with an intent for you to be entertained, not, hey, they're out here shucking and jiving. Hey, ha, 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 ha. On merchandise. Like, no, there's substance here. And I think he's going to be a real big addition to AEW. And I think we're going to see that in the coming months, with their storylines, their TV and everything. And I think it's the perfect hire to do if you're going to implement a new 2-hour show. Yeah. And you're going to have this reshuffling, that you have someone there to like, okay, keep this, put this here, put this there. And, listening to him on Graphics again, like, he knows the product, like, he knows it. And bringing that on, this is going to be fun. I love it. I'm happy for him. And he's going to be there for a long time. He's going to be there for a long time.
He is. I'm so happy for him. Someone I've been able to, work with here on the YouTube channel. Had him here for our Forbidden Door preview last year. I've done, podcasts with him day after Dynamite. He had me fill in for him at Grapsity. The 1 week he didn't show up, he wanted me to fill in over there, which I greatly appreciate. So someone who's really a pioneer in what we do, and he's going to be such a great asset. I said it on Twitter. I'll say it here. AEW is so lucky to have him. He's so knowledgeable when it comes to wrestling, and he's going to be a very good asset. And I think he's the highest ranking African American in all of wrestling. As far as like a backstage role in WWE doesn't have African Americans like that, and
that's true. You're right.
In those roles, but AEW does, so that's a big deal for AEW to do that, especially with all the issues they've had with representation for talent over the years. So. We got.
Yeah, I think that's also in wrestling history.
Yeah.
I think you could kind of say, what, probably Ernie Ladd?
I think so.
As far as Ernie Ladd was a promoter, but outside of that, as far as creative, like, there's very little. So he's in a very historic upper echelon African American representation in the creative process of professional wrestling history.
Yeah. We got Simeon who's saying, going from a longtime observer, message board poster, and subscriber to now getting your own feature about you from them is crazy. Will is an amazing human being in this space. Absolutely agree with that. And King of the North adding, I think Tony Khan sees a bit of himself in Will Washington in a sense of being a historian, a message board guy, a diehard fan. You can see that connection working well. And I know from personal experience working with Will that Tony Khan had always kind of been contacting him and been watching his Dynamite reviews for stuff that he might have missed. So this is kind of just a progression of their kind of relationship that they build through Will's great work on podcasting. So it's great to see. But we got to move on from AEW and get into some WWE from this week. You had SmackDown last night. The show was from Puerto Rico, San Juan, and chef's kiss. A hot crowd makes any show much better, and this was the best episode of SmackDown in quite some time. You had Rey Mysterio and Zelina Vega actually getting a win for the LWO for once, defeating Dominic Mysterio and Rhea Ripley in a fun mixed tag team match main event. Post-match, the Judgment Day jumped Rey until Bad Bunny got a Road Warrior pop in Puerto Rico like no other, with the NWO NWO coming out with him to make the save for them to an electric pop from that San Juan crowd. And then after the Judgment Day ran off, Bad Bunny was inducted into the LWO by Rey Mysterio. You also had the OC beat the Viking Raiders in a pretty good opening matchup, getting a good response from that crowd. Shinsuke Nakamura defeated Kerry and Cross in a solid bout, which will probably become the rule of the weekend that Puerto Ricans can't win in Puerto Rico. Cody Rhodes.
Wow, that's funny.
Damn.
some final words for Brock Lesnar ahead of their showdown tonight. And you also had final promos from Matt Riddle as he cut the promo for Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, who said they had nothing left to say ahead of the 6-man tag team matchup at Backlash. Meanwhile, the Usos seemed a little bit hyped for their matchup and trying to hype up Solo Sikoa, who warned his brothers that he will do his job and they better do theirs.
Yep.
Man, Solo don't talk too much, but when he talks, it matters.
It matters, yes. Yep.
Dedrian, what did you think about seeing the Puerto Ricans coming out in full effect? What a crowd last night for SmackDown.
I was so happy to see all my fellow Boricuas just celebrating, just having a
big
good
arena
time and everything.
It is.
Considering, a few months ago, the hurricane and everything that hit there and everything, and just for them to actually just escape.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Just escape and have fun. And the whole night I was just like, I'm waiting for Bad Bunny. I don't care about all this stuff. Like, I just want to see his pop. Like, I know it's going to be loud. Like, the guy had a freaking concert at a gas station in Puerto Rico that sold out at a gas station. He was performing
and he was on top of it. Yep.
It.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I'm like, no, this is going to be nuts. And when he came out, I was just like, this is why I watch wrestling. Because of these pops. These pops. This is so entertaining to see these pops. And like you said, SP, like, when there's a lively crowd like that in Puerto Rico and even overseas in Wales for Clash of the Castle, and of course, what's going to happen at All In, you just sit back and you're like, this is why I love professional wrestling. Like, this is fun. Like, forget all this Discord online.
Right.
This is wrestling. This is fun. And hopefully him and Priest are the main event tonight. Like, I don't see any other match being the main event tonight, because you got two Puerto Ricans in Puerto Rico. Put them.
You have to have it as the main event. Like, it has to be.
Yeah, I
don't know how WWE can watch that and not think that should be the main event.
Thank you. Like, that, if they do that, that's similar to Cody Rhodes losing at WrestleMania. Like, it's there. Like, it's literally life giving you, like, here, take it. Do whatever you want with it.
Right,
like,
right.
Come on, man.
And what I was referring to when I said Puerto Ricans not winning in Puerto Rico is Karrion Kross gonna lose, Zelina Vega gonna lose, Damian Priest gonna lose. Bad Bunny does not really count to me because he's not really a WWE star. He's a celebrity. It's a celebrity coming in. He's from Puerto Rico. Yes, he's the biggest representative of Puerto Rico, but he's not a WWE star who's Puerto Rican. So that's what I'm referring to.
Wait, Karrion Kross is Puerto Rican?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
He said it, I think, in the Fightful interview he did with Sean Ross Sapp.
Yeah.
He's like 6 or 7 different ethnicities combined.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Orlando saying, hey, Zelina Vega won on SmackDown. Ray won. She was just his tag team partner. That's a difference.
Ray won because Don was the one that got the pin, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, she didn't get the pin. Yeah.
They didn't even. I was like, at least
Rhea was not getting pinned. Regardless,
at least let her win though on SmackDown. Let her pin Dom. Let her pin Dom on SmackDown.
Yeah, that could have been it. Yeah.
Loses at Backlash, so Puerto Rico can win in their hometown. LOL. I was like, no, they're not really. It was Ray who won. Ray's Mexican. Sorry. Romeo saying first is Will Washington. Next it'll be Jimmy Macaram. If you saw AE Ramble this week, I think there is no chance in hell Jimmy Macaram will ever be hired by AEW. Just letting y'all know. This man don't know how to take anything back. Orlando saying a win is a win. Trying to clear it.
Trying to clear it.
Hey, Zelina won by proxy. There you go.
We're holding on to this. Bell saying, hi guys. Bunny and Priest versus Priest should be the main event tonight. Both men walking in with cheers though, because I don't see Damian getting booed at first. I don't know. Because if he comes out with Dom, then he'll get booed.
Yeah. Dom is the heat. Like they wouldn't even let him talk on Monday Night Raw. Like it was that. Like yo, he's getting so much heat, son.
Not even last night. Yeah. The Dutch was saying like he worked most of his career in Puerto Rico. It was like those Puerto Ricans, they care about their family. So disrespectful son, he was like they're gonna boo him out the building. Yep. It's just a wrap. But speaking of Bad Bunny, he was originally planned for a much different match at WWE Backlash in San Juan, Puerto Rico. According to a new report, Bunny is set to face Damian Priest at tonight's pay-per-view, though according to Fightful Select, the original plan was to have Bunny and Rey Mysterio face Priest and Dominic Mysterio in a tag team matchup. According to the report, the original plan would have had Bunny pin Dominic to leave the fans happy. However, WWE decided to pull the Mysterios from the match, and both Bunny and WWE felt comfortable with Bunny's ability to compete in a singles match at this show. Krssi Luv, what do you think about WWE having faith in Bad Bunny to perform in his first ever singles match, which, everybody in the chat, us on the screen is saying should be the main event? That's a huge spot for any celebrity.
It is, but also the celebrity did also put in the work and train with us for a while. So this is not his first rodeo. So he knows what to expect. He knows what he needs. He's going to do what needs to be done. And that's what he's going to go out there and perform his ass off. And yes, they definitely should make him main evented. He's already know what to, he knows what to do already. Like, why not have him go out there and main event? Originally I thought it would have been a tag match, but he doesn't need to do another tag match because he's done 2 already. So technically, it's time, if he wants to really do this wrestling thing, this would be the way that you do it.
Hey, he's been all over the promotion for this. The WWE lost out on a key promotional tool. They should be calling Priest versus Bunny the Battle for Puerto Rico. It should be the Battle for This is the same company that gave us the greatest wrestling match ever. How do you not call this the Battle for Puerto Rico?
Well, pal.
And it's a street fight. So
if Vince had more say, he would have done it. He would have done it.
Actually, that is true. I retract that statement. Yes, he would have done that.
Triple H is like, you don't need all of that.
Why you sound like
hey, that's how he was at the press conference. What does that mean?
What do you mean by that?
Speaking
of, God, I can't wait to see the press conference tonight.
Big upcoming shows. WWE is now advertising Roman Reigns for Night of Champions coming up on May 27th. And another bad promotional thing. Yep. This should be called Day 1000. It should not be called Night of Champions. Yep. Saudi Arabia, May 27th should be called Day 1000. WWE's page for the show
is Saudi Arabia. This don't even count. This is stupid. This is not even going to be a real match. This is not going to be a real tournament. This is dumb. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
WWE's page for the event is now advertising Reigns alongside Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, Gunther, and Austin Theory. The official website for WWE's Money in the Bank pay-per-view coming up in July in London is now listing Roman Reigns among the talent advertised. Reigns is joined by Becky Lynch, Cody Rhodes, Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley, and Seth Rollins. And the event happens at the O2 Arena in London on July 1st. Drew McIntyre and Charlotte Flair were advertised but are no longer listed. It should be noted that there are rumors that McIntyre's contract is up this year, which we'll get into, although he was drafted to the Raw brand this past Monday. As for Flair, she has already said she will be out for a few weeks. And Fightful, speaking of Roman Reigns, had some big notes regarding the unified titles that were unified at WrestleMania 38 in 2022 and established introduced a new title this month with the World Heavyweight Championship. According to the report by Fightful, decision to combine the titles was made after Roman Reigns was pulled from WWE Day 1 on January 1st, 2022, the day of the pay-per-view. The decision at that time was to have Brock Lesnar be added to the WWE Championship matchup and win the title, and then move on to the unification match at WrestleMania 38. It is noted that there were no plans to unify the championships before that point. Since then, there has been speculation that WWE would split the two titles at some point, and internal documents in WWE included a plan to do so. There was a point at which either Drew McIntyre or Seth Rollins were set to face Cody Rhodes for the WWE Championship, which obviously didn't end up happening, and within a few weeks, the idea of splitting the titles altogether was done away with. The report also notes that while the King and Queen of the Ring tournament was originally scheduled for the May 27th Saudi Arabia show, that was changed due to the booking around the World Heavyweight Championship taking place at the Saudi show. So a lot of stuff that they just been mixing around, and we'll get into the absolutely. Oh man, it gives me a headache. The shitstorm of bullshit that is this World Heavyweight Championship tournament. We'll get into that after we talk about the WWE.
I don't know why they act like they're not gonna give it to Roman.
Eventually, maybe.
Oh Lord,
not anytime soon. But like I said,
so he's not gonna have the belt. Is that what you're saying?
Not anytime soon. They're gonna give it to somebody else at first.
They got more to the story to tell.
There's more to the story, and I just want to make it clear because I didn't put this in the Raw notes, but I told people who tried to argue with me that this is a third world title. I literally had these WWE fans who wanted to believe
these marks.
This is the second world title. It's not the third world title. He was like, Roman Reigns has never defended each one individually, so this is the second one. Paul Heyman has literally made it canon on Raw when he says that Roman Reigns already has 2 world titles and maybe he wants to get a third. So this is a third world title, which again is an indictment against all your praise and your love for flawed Paul effect, Triple H.
Yep.
Man, you know what? It's funny you mentioned that because I was looking at the topic of the show and you had the brand and everything, and I'm like, WWE has this bad habit of having something so simple, like just have 2 titles. You didn't have to put the belt on Brock Lesnar last year. You should have just had Big E go through the thing and then just keep it simple. But no, WWE, their freaking storytelling, it's like, so SB, you're in New York, I'm in Chicago. That's like, hey SB, I'm gonna meet you up in New York. That's like me going to Nashville, then Atlanta, then Austin, Texas, then Las Vegas, then back to North Carolina, then Philly, then Toronto, then New York. When all I could have done is take a straight flight. That's how WWE tells their story.
You were being Michael Kyle. You know how you have when they went to Hawaii and they had to go to all the places before they before they got to their destination because he was cheap to buy directing flights. That's them. Yep.
Man, it's just like, how do you complicate something so simple? You didn't have to unify the titles. You did not have to. Nobody put a gun to your head. It's like, you better the network's like, we want those titles unified. No.
But my whole thing is, if it was a problem, you had 9 fucking months to solve it, Triple H. And you had Austin Theory's Money in the Bank reign. You could have used it for Cody Rhodes literally saying he only cares about the WWE Championship. He doesn't care about the Universal Championship. You had these chances. You didn't do it. So you said, oh yeah, we're just going to make a consolation prize. Here's the we can't beat Roman title. Here you go, second place trophy, participation trophy, and we're going to have a tournament that makes no goddamn sense.
Yes.
But we'll get into that.
Thank you.
We will get into that.
Oh my God.
Will Chisholm in the chat.
Why do you guys think that this is, we already know the draft is bullshit. Everything that they do is just dumb. Like we sit here almost all the time talking about this, expecting more from them, and we just get slapped in the face. Like,
it's because everybody told me for what felt like a decade that, oh, don't worry, Triple H will one day take over and everything will make sense, everything will be fine.
It's like he learned from him, and he did everything that he does.
Guess what happened? These people expected a guy who stand in the ring, and Vince told him to tell a black person, you don't deserve to win the world title, you chuck and jive for me, and instead of putting him over in the matchup, or at least making him look good at a loss, this man pedigreed him and waited 30 seconds to pin him, and you expected that guy to make good decisions when he was in charge? Jesus Christ.
You know what? It's funny you mentioned that, because remember last time I was talking about Triple H and I said people give him too much credit because he was in control of NXT for a year. He didn't have these guys for like 3, 4, 5 years. He had them for like 6 months to a year, and he's the greatest, promoter. And it's like, no, he didn't have them for that long. It's like you're giving him too much credit than he should get.
Pretty much. And I'd be totally down for that, Bell. Bianca ending Roman's reign. The only person more powerful than Roman is Bianca. And Will Chisholm saying, damn, SP3, day 1000 sounds baller. It does. Just simple. Come on, just make that. But like I said, final WWE note before we get into Raw on the final night of the draft. As previously reported, WWE's contract for Drew McIntyre is believed to be expiring at the end of the year. The two sides were said to be not close to reaching a deal, although at the time it was said McIntyre would wait to make a decision until the contract is close to expiring. He was said to be considering multiple factors, quote unquote, regarding if he will stay or go. And according to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, McIntyre is allegedly working in WWE with the idea that there's a good chance, quote unquote, he will be leaving when his contract is up. He will be out of action for another few weeks, and it was noted that nothing has changed with his contract, but very interesting time. He is supposed to be out because he has like some type of injury. Very quickly to wrap things up before we get into Raw. Okay, we're on May. It's now May 6th, 2023. Drew McIntyre stays with WWE and will be in WWE in 2024. Yes or no, Krssi Luv?
Yes.
Dedrian?
No.
Chat, you guys will highlight your comments. Let us know what you think. Do you think Drew McIntyre? Right now, I'm going to say yes.
Okay.
I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say yes for now. And Romeo saying, don't look for WWE to reach out to SP3 for a job. They need me. I need to be the Will Washington for Triple H. I'm putting it out there. You guys can clip it right now. Triple H, if you need someone who's just gonna be like, yeah, maybe we should have done this instead of this. Maybe we don't. You want that? Maybe right. If we don't, I mean. Yeah, because then I gotta talk to Vince as well.
Thank you.
Never mind.
Nah.
Never mind. Let's go to WWE Raw from this past week. They did 1.7 million viewers. The show featured the second and final night of the WWE Draft 2023, with Raw selecting SmackDown Women's Champion Rhea Ripley and Seth freaking Rollins in the first round of the draft. In the second round, they drafted undisputed WWE Tag Team Champions Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Why are they getting drafted if they can be on both shows? And in the second round, they picked all three members of the Judgment Day, Finn Balor, Damian Priest, and Dominic Mysterio. Why the hell did they separate Rhea Ripley from Judgment Day? And for anyone who's going to answer, it's because Rhea's the champion. Roman Reigns is the undisputed WWE Universal Champion.
And he got drafted with Solo
Sikoa
and Paul Heyman. Dumb.
Gunther is the Intercontinental Champion, and he got drafted with the rest of Imperium. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. In round 3, they picked WWE Women's Tag Team Champions Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. Why are they getting drafted? Because they could be on both shows.
Oh my God.
And the New Days, Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston, Trish Stratus, Shayna Baszler.
Why are we doing Hall of Famers? Like, this don't make no sense to me.
Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey got picked up in the next round. In the round after that, Braun Strowman and Ricochet, as well as Bronson Reed, were picked up. Then in the next round, in the final round on the show, you had Alpha Academy and NXT's Katana Chance and Kaden Carter, the former NXT Women's Tag Team Champions, getting picked up. And then on Raw Talk, the Raw picked up a bunch of people: Dana Brooke, Nikki Cross, and Johnny Gargano, Los Lotharios, Akira Tozawa, Piper Niven, Xyla Lee, Tegan Knox, Riddick Moss, the former Madcap Moss, and Emma.
Wait, what is his name?
Riddick Moss. They also picked up NXT's Indu Share, as well as NXT's Odyssey Jones.
Oh my God, I can't. You know what?
SmackDown selected the United States champion Austin Theory and Charlotte Flair in the first round. In the second round, they picked up the Usos. Why the fuck were the Usos separate from the rest of the bloodline if they were just going to go to the same damn show? Then SmackDown picked up a haul. They picked up all 5 members of the LWO. So just in case the Usos not being associated with the bloodline didn't make sense for you, they picked up 5 people with one fucking group. Then in the third round, they picked up Asuka and the Brawling Brutes. They picked up Karrion Kross and LA Knight.
Another group that they put together. Like I don't understand this.
Karrion Kross and LA Knight in the fourth
I could have sworn
round.
He was already on LA. It was on SmackDown already.
Yeah, a lot of these people were already on the same day.
Like I was like, what are we doing? Like
in the fifth round, they picked up Shotzi and former NXT Tag Team Champions Pretty Deadly, the best pick of the draft for SmackDown. Rick Boogs and got picked up as well. So yeah, that happened. And Cameron Grimes got picked up.
Yes, he got picked. Well. Yes, I was so excited for him.
Then on Raw Talk, SmackDown also added Tamina and NXT's own Grayson Waller, Mr. Irrelevant, the final pick for SmackDown for the WWE Draft. We'll get into this. Seth Rollins also defeated Solo Sikoa via disqualification thanks to interference from the Usos before a brawl with Riddle, Zayn, and Owens to close the show. Krssi Luv, you had a lot to say while we were running through the picks. What overall thoughts on last week's draft on SmackDown and this week on Raw?
Okay, first of all, I hate the draft. I hate what it does. Like, we are drafting people that are already going to go back and forth. Why are we drafting them to one place? The champions have both belts. I have to be on both shows if I have both fucking belts, you idiots. Then now you say, oh, we're going to draft Bianca. On Monday, we're going to draft Rhea. No fucking way. They're going to stay on one fucking show? No. But now we're going to do the whole swapping of fucking belt stupidness. Great job. Then we always know when you have one partner, the partners go with them too. I knew Ricochet was going, they are very messy, by the way. How you got Ricochet on Raw with his new lady and his old lady now going to the show. Tell me where this. Tell me, yo. Okay, sure, no problem. Everyone. Yeah, I mean, listen, like. So now we got to have the best ring announcer now go to Raw. Great job, guys. Kudos to
still do Imperium's entrance at least.
Yeah,
she should. But she does Roman so much better, though. I'm just.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Like Homeboys, he's good, but I don't even remember his name right now. But he's good. But I mean, like, she's just the better one out of the two. Like just make her do both shows. I mean, it's okay. It's fine. But the draft, like, why are we drafting Edge and Trish Stratus? They're not going to be here every day. They're not coming to work every fucking week. This is dumb. They didn't need to be drafted. Then we draft.
How is Edge and Trish Stratus not free agents, but Von Wagner and Zion Quinn are? And Orlando, there's a difference between getting stressed and just making fun of the absolute nonsensicalness of the fucking draft. I'm not stressed at all.
I'm not stressed at all. It's just
I'm actually making fun of the stupid.
It makes no sense.
It's stupidity at its finest.
It contradicts itself.
Why are we drafting people that are already on this show? Like, you didn't draft me. I was already working here. You're not doing anything for me.
No, hey, not to mention the world title, was it the world heavyweight title tournament? Even
we're
contradicts
gonna
the own draft.
We're gonna get to that.
I know. It's like
then we go and we have like there's certain rounds. Now we have rounds that we have the people coming out and then announcing it. That's great, fine. But like, what? Like, it was just so like. Then you made me sit here for 3 hours to watch this to be like, oh, this person was already on Raw. Now I like the NXT that they did for what they did for NXT. Great, good job. You're gonna put the come ups that they brought up. I'm not mad at neither. Not nothing. No, I'm mad at one. Indy Hartwell. What the fuck? She should have been fucking there. The whole team was on Raw. The whole team.
No, she's on Raw. She got drafted to Raw.
She's on there now, but they were already there.
She should have been there like 6-7 months ago.
She should have been there months ago, but no, we had to make her a champion for like 30 days.
They wanted to make her champion.
They should just give the belt to Tiffany Stratton from the get-go. Why do we let? Then she's injured now. Go fucking now.
Great stuff.
My head hurt. My head was hurting from all of this. I'm like, then you make her give it away. Now you're gonna have another fucking tournament. Like, how many fucking tournaments do we fucking need?
And people always complain when AEW does tournaments, but I don't hear a peep. I don't hear a peep about 2 different tournaments for WWE.
Look, at least their tournaments have a logical sense and a goal. Mm-hmm. These tournaments are like, you really didn't have to have this tournament. Like,
you did not have to.
Huh?
So now we have to do the ladies yet again. We had a 3-way match at their last pay-per-view. Homegirl wins with the help of Dexter. Now she's already gone. It's like she has a belt for no reason.
You tried to vacate the title before the last pay-per-view. Now you're doing it for this pay-per-view.
Like,
that's some WCW 2000 booking.
Yo, the book, whoever did the draft, and it just I feel like they got this together like 5 minutes before the show.
Like, and the whole point of why we're at this point nitpicking all of this is because the draft didn't need to happen.
It didn't. They were doing so well. He came out there himself and said, "We're gonna have the biggest draft ever. This is gonna be amazing." He said it, not us. He did that.
He said this is gonna be a game changer, and they teased us on commentary for months. Oh, these teams might be getting split, and then all the teams get stick together. They all got drafted together. What was the point of all of this?
Man, you know what? The draft going forward, WWE should just have the draft for NXT. It should not be for Raw, SmackDown. It should be for NXT and any new signings that signs with WWE.
And they signed they brought up a lot. Usually they don't bring up that many NXT people. Hopefully they don't get lost in the. They brought up. I was like, maybe it was already saturated with people down there already. We didn't see Scripps get drafted, but or Reggie.
They brought up a lot of people who I don't think were ready too.
Yeah.
Zion Quinn isn't ready.
No.
Von Wagner isn't ready.
No.
Odyssey Jones, I like him out of all those 3 people that I just named. He's not ready.
He's not ready. He's not ready.
You know what I noticed with the last couple of drafts? If you compare Dusty Rhodes' crew, his NXT understudies, they've excelled on the main roster. You look at Triple H's crew, all they do, they go to the main roster, they market them, and they get
job to other ones.
Yeah, they push them to the fans as, hey, they have a bunch of potential, and then the fans start fantasy booking, and while they're fantasy booking every week, WWE is not doing nothing with them.
Pretty much.
That's how they've been doing it for the past couple of years, and I've noticed the difference between Dusty's NXT understudies and Triple H's understudies.
There is a difference, folks. But let's talk about what we've been talking about, the World Heavyweight Championship Tournament. During Friday's WWE Backlash press conference, Triple H revealed that the tournament for the Raw exclusive World Heavyweight title
it's going to be on both Raw and SmackDown. Dumb.
Also laid out the tournament details, noting that some matches will be on SmackDown for the Raw exclusive World Heavyweight Championship.
Like, why?
There will be 2 triple threat matches on Raw, with the winners facing each other later in the night. The same thing will happen on next week's SmackDown. The two winners from each show will then face each other at Night of Champions on May 27th. Yes, we're going to have Raw versus SmackDown a month after the damn draft. And for all the people, and I've seen this on social media, like, oh no, it makes sense, you know, giving SmackDown a chance at the new world title before they have to deal with a part-time champion. No, it doesn't make sense, because SmackDown, if they win this tournament, that means they wasted a draft pick on someone who's actually good who can win a tournament. Because then that person has to go to Raw and defend the World Heavyweight Championship. It's like, just try to make it make sense. Just try to make it make sense, please. I
honestly think WWE's creative writers use Chat GPT, whatever that to script the shows. Because this is like when I saw Triple H say it, I was like, wait a minute. But you said it was like whatever show Roman was on, that title was exclusive for that brand. So I'm like, why are SmackDown wrestling for a title that's exclusively for Raw? Like, huh?
So what you're saying is this whole draft that you now has put us through for like the last 2 weeks didn't make any sense. It doesn't even care. It doesn't even matter, because guess what? Someone from SmackDown could be the Raw champion, dummy.
It's like, huh? Like, damn, like this makes no sense.
And do he even like go over, like, does he practice what he gonna say before he go? Obviously not, because then you would know or hear back what you're saying to make it make sense.
Like, I don't know if this is why he needs me. He needs me to be like, I don't think this makes sense, Chief. Maybe we should go back to the drawing board a bit on this one. Maybe we should.
I guarantee you that. Listen, see this comment right on the screen right here. I guarantee the first rounds of like cutbacks and shit, he'd be the first one.
Hey, all I will say is I think Kate from Fightful, who we've had here on the channel, put it perfectly in this tweet. I don't know why, in that quote she said, I don't know why everyone is so confused about the draft. Free agents can work on any brand. People on Raw can also work on any brand. People on SmackDown could also work on any brand. Bianca Belair and Io Sky are fighting for the Raw Women's Championship, but both of them are going to SmackDown. Rhea Ripley and Zelina Vega are fighting for the SmackDown Women's Championship, but Rhea belongs to Raw. The NXT Women's Tag Team Champions are also on SmackDown, and they just defended their titles against a team that is from Raw on NXT. I mean, are you getting this yet? It makes perfect sense.
You know what? Looking at all this, the thought that came into my head, I'm like, man, this reminds me of when Turner bought WCW or Jim Crockett Promotions, and we literally went from the Four Horsemen to the Yamaguchi Corporation with Ric Flair. Like, I was like, how the hell what does Ric Flair have to do with freaking like that type of? And I think that's one thing that we're seeing with WWE since the merger. It hasn't finalized yet. That it's one of my fears is like we're gonna get some bad creative when Endeavor finalizes this merger, because they're gonna have, whatever chunk Vince had, they're gonna have that. And I'm really worried that they're going to put someone that's not wrestling minded, and we're going to get some really backwards, convoluted stories that are like, huh? That's my fear.
All right, but wrap this part up.
Yes, please.
I think is going to be in the finals of the World Heavyweight Championship tournament. I believe we just saw a preview of it, and that's why it had the finish the way that it did. I think it's going to be Seth Rollins versus Solo Sikoa in the finals at Night of Champions. Dedrian, what do you think?
You know what? I could see that. I see Seth Rollins. I could see either Solo, or knowing how WWE has been booking, we're going to get Seth Rollins and Austin Theory again.
Just give us the same damn match we were seeing for months on Raw. Krssi, what do you think?
Definitely seeing Seth at the end. He's going all the way to the end. Solo, I didn't picture that, but yes, I can see it now. I guess it was like the writing on the wall when they had like Paul and Seth out there talking. It has Solo, so I definitely can see that happening. But I think probably Seth will take it all the way.
That is fair. WWE had a good week with their first quarter earnings call, and they were doing big business in the first quarter of 2023. They noted that improved numbers in ticket sales and attendance. The company has heard $297.6 million in revenue for January through March. Ticket sale revenue in North America was up 52% from last year, while attendance was up 37%. It was noted that viewership for Raw and SmackDown were up 7%, with WWE gaining viewers even as overall television viewership is down 15% on cable and 6% on network television. So a lot of great numbers for quarter one for WWE. Meanwhile, following up from last week's talk about the WWE lawsuit, former WWE writer David Schilling recently shared his reaction to the lawsuit over allegations of racist storyline pitches in WWE. As reported, Brittany Abrams filed a lawsuit against WWE and Vince McMahon over what she feels were racist scripts and alleged that McMahon and other executives discriminate and retaliated against her after she spoke out against offensively racist and stereotypical jargon. Schilling, who worked for WWE from February to April of 2019, spoke with our good friends Fightful's Jeremy Lambert and Joe Pearl on In the Weeds for an interview and was asked about the lawsuit. He also talked about his involvement in the Kofi Kingston Kofi Mania storyline that saw Kofi win the WWE Championship that year at WrestleMania. On his reaction to the lawsuit, he said, and I quote, "Well, my thoughts were, I think, probably similar to a lot of people who are people of color who work for WWE, which is, I mean, not terribly surprising that someone would be upset about some of the things that they experience at the company. It's not the best place to work if you are a person of color. You're a woman, you're LGBTQ. Like, it's just difficult because there are a lot of people there who are older, who are maybe not as sensitive to certain things. And at the end of the day, the person who makes the decisions is Vince McMahon. Even today, Vince has a lot of power and a lot of say-so in what goes on the air. And you know, Vince isn't the world's most sensitive person. On being involved in the Kofi Mania storyline, he said, and I quote, "Well, I was there in 2019 and I was on SmackDown on the home team on SmackDown. And the thing that we were the most concerned with, the thing that we were most involved with, ironically, was Kofi Mania. And that was a storyline that obviously treaded on a lot of sort of attitudes about race, ideas about who should be or who shouldn't be the champion. And I never felt like that storyline was disrespectful. I never felt like that storyline was treated in a way where Kofi came off as, you know, kind of a token champion. That was a really great storyline. I'm very proud of the small part that I had to play in that. And I think, you know, we can debate how it turned out at the end when he lost to Brock Lesnar, which I found out about in April. April. This happened in October. He found out about it in April. We were talking about like the plan is first SmackDown on Fox. Brock is going to come in and he's going to win the title and it's going to be a quick match. And that's exactly what happened after I left. That was the way that it turned out. But the writers in the room with me were always incredibly aware of what we were doing and why it was important. So the plan all along was to Kofi to lose like that. Crazy. What do y'all think?
I can't even believe that. I'm like, y'all gotta be lying. Like, y'all wanted him to be like thrown and like lose in such a matter. Like, he's so much better than that. Like,
I mean, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised from this.
You know what? Yeah, this is true. You're right. Never mind.
It makes me think of the reasons why Naomi and
Sasha left. Yep.
And one thing that I've noticed, and
you're not going to do this to me. Yep.
To a lot of my friends who watch WWE, and I'm like, have you noticed the decrease of African American representation on WWE programming? You don't see Bobby Lashley on there as you did before. You don't see the Hurt Business. You sporadically see Omos. Bianca Belair comes out once in a blue moon. Like, you don't see that presence that you saw 3-4 years ago.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, okay, they're not developing talent to be in that position or presenting them in a way that, hey, you know, this is the next wave of, you know, superstars and everything. And it's just like, business is normal. We got who we like, you know, and it's like, oh, okay. that's how you guys are going to be? Cool. I'll watch these other 44 wrestling promotions that actually represent African Americans. So, all right, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, it's sad.
And as a diverse just freelance from the refs, so all like everyone, you see some type of diversity in other promotions. Use the same format. Like you took one of your African American guys off of the commentator table and you put him in the back. He does the press conferences now.
Yeah, we rarely see Byron. Like, even if he is a backstage interviewer, when I see him,
you see all the ladies. You always see females.
Yeah.
And Booker T, I mean, he's cool. He's one of my favorite wrestlers, but like they kind of have him as a caricature on NXT.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, bro, you just doing like, huh? Like, come on, man. Like, nah, man, this ain't it.
It's ridiculous, but there is good news to talk about before we get into.
We lost so much.
Yeah, it is true. It's very true. I didn't even think about it like that.
I didn't think about it. Yeah, I didn't think about it until now. You just opening like, wait, you're right. Like the product is not.
Nope. It don't have that feel of representation.
Yeah. Before we get into NXT, there's some good news in the wrestling world. We got to touch on a couple of notes. In a post on Twitter, Gunther revealed that he and Jinny, the former NXT UK star, got married recently. He shared a photo of the two just after it happened in London. In a post on Twitter this week as well, Nikki Cross revealed that she recently turned in her dissertation as she is working on her master's degree. And she later said that it was about women's wrestling. And then finally, in one of the best news of the week, in an interview with ABC News, Carmella announced that she is pregnant, as she and Corey Graves are now expecting their first child together. She found out about the pregnancy in March, which explains her sudden absence from WWE TV. She also showed a fabulous video on social media where she gave Corey's stepkids, Corey's kids, sneakers and revealed to them that she was pregnant. So congratulations to Carmella, Corey Graves, Nikki Cross, Gunther, Jinny. Great news in the wrestling world.
Yes,
pleasant.
Definitely.
Yes.
After thinking about not a lot of black people, that's good to know. Annika saying Booker T is being Booker T. Nah. It watch a Hall of Fame. If you watch his podcast, that's Booker T saying ignorant takes, being a little bit silly at times. This is Booker T playing the caricature of Booker T. I get where Dedrian is coming from. NXT, speaking of the home of Booker T, they did 568,000 viewers this week. The show featured Indy Hartwell relinquishing the NXT Women's Championship to set up a tournament with the finals deciding a new champion at Battleground on May 28th. She got out of there with her husband, Dexter Lumis, escorting her out, picking her up with the injured leg. You got Isla Dawn and Alba Fire, the Dawn of Fire, defeating Katana Chance and Kaden Carter to retain and take the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships to
that they'll give away on SmackDown. And
no, apparently they said they're gonna defend the titles on SmackDown. So I guess we're gonna have two different women's tag team titles on the now. I don't know.
This don't make no.
Wesley beat Drew Gulak to retain the NXT North American Championship as they teased him versus Tyler Bate. And then finally, JD McDonough had his final appearance on NXT as he defeated Dragon Lee in an absolute banger thanks to a distraction from Noam Dar. So pretty good show from NXT. Some NXT notes. You had WWE's NXT's Sol Ruka recently had surgery to repair her torn ACL in her knee, and the Wrestling Observer newsletter reports that before the injury, there were plans to pair Ruka with Danny Palmer, who made her debut on NXT this week. Great debut, by the way. The belief is that the two would have had a major babyface push, and NXT officials were said to be wanting to put the NXT Tag tag team titles on them within months of putting them together. Obviously, those plans have now been delayed, and they also signed up a former talent from NXT UK, as Kenny Deadness announced that he was retiring from the ring. However, he has now returned to WWE, this time as a writer and producer for the NXT brand. On WWE's LinkedIn page, the company congratulated him on his new position, along with other hires from Q1. As a wrestler, Eddie Dennis worked for WWE from 2018 to 2022 and competing on the NXT UK brand. Krssi Luv, I know you're upset about Indy Hartwell relinquishing the title. Let it out, sis. Let it out. I've
said enough. I'm not doing this anymore. You're not going to give me a headache for foolishness anymore. I'm good. We've talked more about it, and it's made it. Nick Jackson said it the most. Like, that stuff made my head hurt. Like, this was like, come on. Like, why are we doing this? Like, again, you let the tag you call up the girls with the tag belts. We have them now defended on SmackDown. Like, I can't. Like, my head. Like, then what's the point of having freaking Mercedes and Liv drafted? Like, what was the point? Like, what are we doing?
Raquel, you call her
I'm
Mercedes?
Sorry. Yeah, her slave name, my bad.
No, that ain't even her slave name. That's somebody else's name.
Yeah, you're right. Shit. See, that's the point that I'm trying to get to. Don't even fucking matter.
Good save.
Doesn't even matter.
Dedrian, what do you think about the whole mess with the NXT Women's Championships, both the tag team and the main title?
Well, first, they should have never created the NXT titles, because you had the women's titles, and then they had an opportunity. This is to merge the titles. When you had, was it Nia Jax and who was their partner back in the
Shayna Baszler.
Shayna Baszler.
Yeah.
They went down to NXT. You could have merged the titles. Like,
really?
I don't get WWE, nor do I want to get WWE as a fan, because it's like, no, you've been doing this stuff for like 20 years.
Yeah.
Like, no, I'm not buying your BS and, well, things will turn around. No, it's not turning around because you're making record profits. Like, no, it's not. Yeah, it's just like, it's unnecessary.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't have the women's title, and like, it goes back to what I said earlier, like, the draft should be for NXT. So you should have the women's roster on NXT. Like, no, yeah, I'm in NXT, but I should be Raw champion. I should be women's world champion. That should be that should be what's being presented to us as we watch NXT, instead of, oh, you stole my boyfriend. Oh, you what? You bitch. No, I'm no. It's like, what? Like, what is this? And you know, it's sad, because if you really look at WWE, that's the company that needs a ranking system that would solve, that would fill in a lot of holes for their storylines as to why they do what they do. Because it's like they book like there's a ranking system, but there isn't a ranking system. And they're like, there's nothing. It's like, what? It's like, are you freaking...
You'll be all right.
Yeah.
And we used, well, at least I thought that, you know, WWE was like the pillar, like it was like the top place you would want to be. If I was a wrestler and I'm applying for a job, I don't think I want to go there.
No.
They have to make stuff make sense first. Just make it make sense, and then everything will be fine.
You're going to take my gimmick and dumb it down. Like, you're just going to, like, make me do stupid things that I probably don't even agree with, and then I'm going to have, like, why do you think the other two girls left?
Carl Fredericks.
When he was Eddie Thorpe?
Yeah. It's like, wait a minute, how does this... Like, this dude was a badass in New Japan, and you have him as a DJ? What?
A North American, a Native American DJ.
Huh?
What?
Good gimmick. Talking about wrestling that makes a little bit more sense. You have New Japan Pro Wrestling this week. They had their Wrestling Dontaku 2023 event. This was a really, really good show. You had Sonata defeating Hiromu Takahashi in an outstanding main event. Hiromu pulling out the 2017 Hiromu in a banger here to retain the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. But post-match is what everybody was talking about after the event as Yota Tsuji, the former Young Lion, made his re-debut, long awaited, and absolutely destroyed and laid out every single member of Just Five Guys, including Sonata, took hold up the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship, staking his claim to the top title in New Japan Pro Wrestling. You also had David Finlay beat Tama Tonga in a dominating performance to win the Never Openweight Championship. Post-match, El Phantasmo made his return to get a measure of revenge on Bullet Club and stake a claim at a shot against Finlay. You also had Hikuleo beat Kenta to win the Strong Openweight Championship.
Good on this one.
Zack Sabre Jr. and Jeff Cobb went to a 15-minute time limit draw in a great match for the New Japan Pro Wrestling World Television Championship. And Kazuka Okada, Tomohiro Ishii, and Hiroshi Tanahashi defeated Strong Styles, Ren Narita, El Desperado, and Minoru Suzuki in an excellent trios match to win the Never Openweight 6-man tag team championships. Post-match, Shota Umino challenged Team Okada for the titles and introduced a video from none other than the boogeyman of NJPW, Jon Moxley, who will team up with his former Young Boy Shooter and return at Dominion to face Team Okada for the 6-man tag team championships. Very noteworthy stuff. Or what did you think about all the big stuff that went down at Wrestling Dontaku, Dedrian? Yota Tsuji's return, Jon Moxley coming back, and much, much more.
So I didn't catch much of it because I caught your like retweets and stuff like that of what was happening and everything. But seeing Moxley there's like, oh, this is gonna be good. But seeing Okada, Ishii, and Tanahashi, right away I'm like, please give us them versus the House of Black at Forbidden Door. Please give us that. Please give us that. Like that right there. You announce that match, yeah, you're gonna sell tickets because that, man, Malachi Black versus Okada. Whew.
I think it's gonna be them versus Blackpool Combat Club. I think Dominion is gonna be the preview, and then we get probably Claudio, Moxley, and Wheeler versus Okada, Ishii, and Tanahashi at Forbidden Door.
Man, but I want that House of Black versus. That's just like a perfect. You know what? Give me a good 15-minute match, 20-minute match with these guys. I'll just sit there and just watch it, everything. But no, man, I like what New Japan's doing. You can tell that they're not reshuffling, but they're going into the next generation of New Japan stars because, you know, that generation before that was a part of that big boom in 2013, 10 years ago. You could see they're going there, and they're doing it very gracefully and just a nice transition where it's like, ooh, this looks good. It's like, oh, okay. So I'm really intrigued, and I like the way that New Japan presents their new young lions. They present them as like, no, you need to take them serious. Like they're not young lions anymore. Like they're going to win titles eventually. So if you're not on your A game, they're going to get it done.
I said it yesterday on the review. I'll say it here again. Yota Tsuji is our next world champion. He's winning the title. He's getting the big rocket strapped to his back, and he's going straight to the moon. He's beating Sonata at Dominion. I said Sonata ain't making it past Dominion with the world title, but I was surprised that Yota Tsuji is the guy that's going to get the shot. But bigger news from New Japan this week, Tama Tonga coming off the heels of his loss at Wrestling Dontaku. It was revealed in a report by Fightful Select that he is technically a free agent as he has been working without a contract for the last several months. It was revealed in the report that Tonga reportedly had entrance from WWE, and there were even tentative ideas for creative pitch for him. However, WWE has now had an unofficial hiring freeze since then, and the company did not maintain contact with him, though there has been interest in him in the past as well. What do you think, Miss Krssi Luv? Do you see Tama Tonga potentially re-signing with New Japan, or do you see him going elsewhere? He's been with the company since 2012. He started off as a young lion. He's been there more than a decade.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the time to write him off. They did kind of do a write-off on Wrestling Dontaku with him getting stretched out. So do you see him in the company moving forward?
That's actually maybe not. I mean, maybe he'll see if they can get, like, you know, maybe he want to come to the States and like see how he can like get money maybe via like AEW or Impact probably, or, you know, We'll see. Or maybe he'll want well, RH, same shit, right? AEW,
yeah, RH,
same thing. Same thing, right? Okay. Yeah, maybe he will like. He's been there so long. Maybe he wants to see if he could do it somewhere else. So I think maybe he'll like leave.
I could see that. He's kind of done everything he's gonna do.
Right.
That's my guy. That's my favorite.
I can see him in Impact. He's worked with Impact in the past with the whole partnership with New Japan. And I could see him being like one of their top guys if he left New Japan.
Yeah, I actually, you know what? I can see him. Maybe I can see. It's like my personal preference is for him to go to AEW, because we also got to keep in mind that you got Andrade and a few other contracts that are coming up in AEW. So you might see a few of those players that we don't see a lot might be going back to WWE or what have you. So, I mean, he could pop up there because it's like he's got some boys there, and you know,
well, is it boys? Because he hasn't been the nicest to the Elite, and you know, you've had interviews with Bad Luck Fale where he said, "Oh, you know, those guys used the Bullet Club name, got famous, started their own thing." So I don't know if they really
makes
boys.
money. Here, fantasy booking. Who would be the perfect ally for CM Punk against the Elite? And their history with him against the Elite. Remember, they think about it. Technically, they never, you know, brought this whole Civil War Bullet Club from 2018. They never finished it.
No, they didn't. It never got completed. They did beat them. They did beat them at Wrestle Kingdom before the Young Bucks left, but never really fully flushed that out. Final New Japan note, though, in a recent appearance on the Comedy Store Wrestling, Rocky Romero addressed those who have objected to the inclusion of a second NJPW Women's Division Championship, with the strong openweight Women's Championship being crowned at New Japan Pro Wrestling Resurgence on May 21st. Romero cited the past demands for better female representation as a motive force behind the installment of this title, and expressed his disbelief at the online objections that have arisen. On the nonsensical aspect of the controversy, he said, "It just seems like everybody was complaining 2 years ago that there wasn't a championship. There wasn't a division. They said, where's the woman? Where's the representation? And now we've got two women's championships, one that's obviously being defended in Japan. And I feel like we're trying to give women that representation and give them a great place to show professional wrestling in New Japan Pro Wrestling. So I don't really understand where all the controversy is from. The tournament was previously announced last week. It's going to be a 4-woman tournament with Mercedes Moné going against CMLL's Stephanie Vanger, as well as Willow Nightingale versus Stardom's Momo Kongo, and the winners of those two matches will face in the main event at Resurgence to crown the Strong Women's Champion. So
Willow and Mercedes.
Yes.
Willow Mercedes I need that in my veins now. Yes.
I'm here for it. I am 100% here for it.
I want to see it. Yes.
That's a must-see match, especially with, man, Mercedes has been on fire since she's debuted in New Japan. And with Willow and AEW, it's like, okay, is this going to be the bridge that we see Mercedes pop up at Forbidden Door in Toronto and possibly be at All In? Sell some tickets.
I don't know if they don't know. They sold 60,000 without her. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah,
I mean, they did, but
think about it. If you want to get that 90, you had CM Punk, you had Mercedes, you had whatever free agent's going to be available. You have them pop up or something like that.
Kota Ibushi. That's what I'm saying. Kodo.
There you go.
Kodo.
That's the one.
Speaking of the New Japan of the women, you have Stardom Legend of Fuuoka Goddess this week. They had Mina Shirakawa defeating Natsupoi in a tremendous main event matchup to retain the Wonder of Stardom Championship. Post-match, Shirakawa challenged her former Cosmic Angels leader, Tam Nakano, to put up her World of Stardom Championship in a double title showdown at Flash and Champions on May 27th. So a huge weekend, that Memorial Day weekend, because you got this show, you got Double or Nothing, you got the Best of the Super Junior finals, you got NXT Battleground, the New Eras beat FWC in a fun tag team matchup to retain the Goddess of Stardom championships. Post-match, Oedo Tai challenged New Eras for the titles, and then you had Azumi defeated May Sarah in an awesome high-speed matchup to retain the high-speed championship. Post-match, Saki Kamashima challenged Azumi for the gold, and you also had Maika and Julia defeat Yutami Hayashita and Saya Kamatani in a great matchup as well. Tag team action there. Impact on Access TV this week. It was the big week as we had the highly anticipated debut of Trinity, who got a huge reaction from the crowd in Chicago. She was confronted by Impact Knockouts World Champion Deonna Purrazzo, leading to a spicy back and forth between the two ladies, where Deonna said that she's going to make Trinity walk out again, while Trin clapped back by saying that when she's done with Purrazzo, she may want to get fired again, while Jordan Grace came out to remind Deonna that she gets the next shot at the title at Under Siege on May 26th, adding to that Memorial Day weekend. And then Jonathan Gresham defeated Speedball Mike Bailey in a great back and forth matchup. What did you guys think about Trinity's debut? She looked so happy to be there, and really got emotional from the reaction from the crowd in Chicago.
Man, when I was watching it on Thursday, and I'm looking at her, and I'm like, man, she's got a different glow. And no pun intended, because that's her stick and everything. But I'm looking, but I'm looking at her facial expression. I'm looking at her how she's holding the mic. I'm looking at her deliverance and everything, and just how she's in the ring. And I'm like, she fits here. Like, she fits. Like, she's home. Like, she's there.
She made the right decision.
Like, I'm sorry, some people may not like this. Impact Wrestling's Knockouts division is arguably the second best women's division behind Stardom's. Like, it is, I've said it so many times, like, it is such a complimentary alternative to what we've been used to for all these years from WWE. And of course, AEW, they're still working out. So it's like, all right, we know what you're doing, but Impact Wrestling's women's division is absolutely the best in the States. And I look forward to what they do. And hopefully the higher ups in Impact Wrestling, like, hey, branch this product out, because you're starting to get some momentum with your women's division. And it's like, you should start looking into bringing in people from Stardom, AEW, the women's division. What you guys did with the men's division, as far as, bringing people from other promotions, you might want to start doing it for the women's division, because that's a deep division.
Yep.
And looking at the potential matchups that Trinity could have, and it's like, oh man, this is going to be fun. Like, ooh, yeah. And also Impact Wrestling's reputation as kind of like rehabbing careers that were kind of stunted from being in WWE. Like, look at Deonna Purrazzo. She was in NXT, and she's a powerhouse in the women's wrestling. So
that's saying something then, like, when you leave the big company where it's not all where it caked up to be, you be like, oh, this is what, like, being a professional wrestler feels like. This is how I want to wrestle. This is how I see myself and, the foreseeable future. Like, this is what, it's not us that's doing that. The people are just doing, they're showing it themselves. Like, we didn't make this shit up. Like Jon Moxley. Jon Moxley was left being a slave over here as Dean Ambrose, and look at him now. Johnny.
There's a KRS-One quote. He says, "You can't produce real rap with being rich. You can't create authentic professional wrestling while being a billion-dollar company, because you forgot what it is to get to that plateau." That's why AEW has to grind, because they don't have what WWE is, had a hold of. All these companies. So that's why we see the difference in all these companies.
And
Well
that's
said,
why all
friend.
these companies are working together a lot of times. So you see that as well. But the news coming out of Impact, you have Trinity did a lot of interviews this week. The newly signed star spoke to Busted Open Radio, and she addressed what happened the day she left in May 2022, as well as choosing to sign with Impact. She said, and I quote, "I chose what I want to be at Impact. The doors are open for me everywhere, literally everywhere, but I truly feel like Impact is the best choice for me at this point in my life right now with what I want to do, and to just be able to work with the talent there. I feel that is where I'll be happiest and most utilized and really get to grow in the ways that I feel that I need to right now on this wrestling journey. Had all of the stuff never happened, there is no way I would have taken that leap. The situation kind of forced me to figure it out, and that's what I meant when I say everything was a blessing in disguise." On what happened the day she left WWE, she said, and I quote, "I was going through a lot and felt very stagnant, and I wasn't happy. Ultimately, I left that day because of the way I was talked to and handled. Everything kind of broke me that day. It had nothing to do with anything else or anybody else. That was just it. I had to go through the backlash and negativity and the lies and the rumors and also feel lost. It really broke me. It was probably the lowest I've ever felt in my life. Going through that, it made me reset and face it head on and figure out how to learn from this experience and grow from it and find myself again in a lot of it. I'm extremely happy now and really thankful for this opportunity to show that you haven't seen me at my best yet." I'm just happy for her.
Yes.
Happy I thought she debuted last week.
No, the taping was last week. Yeah. It aired this week.
Got it. Because I'm like, wait, how are we doing this twice? I was like, okay, it was all over Twitter. Damn you, Twitter. Because I was like, I could have sworn she did this already. Like, and I was like in the same outfit. I was like, girl, what's happening?
I had some buddies from Chicago that I was like, oh, thank you for showing me the event that I didn't go to. Like, all right. See what happened. All right, cool.
Hey, you gotta watch it. She got some more eyes on Impact this week, and they put their best foot forward. I thought it was a really good episode, and Trinity was kind of the star of that. We should also mention that Matt Cardona has finished up with Impact Wrestling. This was a report from Fightful Select that he was under a handshake type deal for 2 years, but they wouldn't agree to the handshake deal. They wanted to kind of sign him down like they've done with Nick Aldis, who's under a short-term deal, as well as Trinity. So Matt Cardona won't be in Impact Wrestling for now for quite some time. But final show that we missed, ROH TV on Honor Club. The show featured Claudio Castagnoli defeating Robbie Eagles in a really good bout to retain the ROH World Championship. You also had Samoa Joe beat Christopher Daniels in a solid bout to retain the ROH World Television Championship. Rocky Romero defeated Lee Moriarty in a good pure rules matchup, and Commander beat Angelico in a pretty good main event as well. But it is that time of the week again, Miss Krssi Luv. It's time for our match of the week. This is where we each get a chance to tell you our must-watch matches from this past week in wrestling. It could be anywhere you watch. It can be any 3 to 5 matches you want to include. And
now we're doing 3 to 5.
3 to 5. Yeah, that's what I said. 3 to 5. You can give us 3.
Great job, SP.
For Dedrian, who's joining us, you can give us 3 or 5. I'm going to have 5 most weeks, Krssi Luv. You know this from me.
Oh, man, you put me on the spot, man.
Hey, honorable, you got time to think about it, because Krssi Luv's going to go before you as well. My honorable mention this week, Azumi versus Sarah from the Stardom event. High-speed matches. I love it. It's like the X division of this era. It's just so much fun to see these women just go so fast in the ring with roll-ups and submissions. Great stuff. My number 5 this week comes from last Saturday's Wrestling Satsumo event from New Japan. It was Shingo Takagi versus Tai Chi for the King of Pro Wrestling Championship. That match went 43 minutes. It was a hard-hitting matchup, brutal, and Tai Chi becoming the champion. That was a great move by New Japan. Also from that event, Aussie Open versus TMDK is my number 4. One of the best tag team matches of the year. And no one can argue with me. Aussie Open is the tag team of the year right now. They've just been having banger after banger in New Japan. Number 3 is from the Wrestling Dontaku show, Team Okada versus Strong Style. Probably the best trios matchup that New Japan Pro Wrestling has gave us for those never open weight 6-man tag team titles. Number 2, Mina Shirakawa versus Natsupoi from Stardom's A Legend of Fuuoku Goddess. One of the best women's matches I've seen this year. Very fast-paced, but story-driven between these two women that used to be in the same stable together. So a great story told there. And then finally, my number 1, Hiromu Takahashi versus Sanada from Wrestling Dontaku. Just an outstanding main event matchup. Probably Sanada's best of the year. And Hiromu is just in his bag. He's quietly having a Wrestler of the Year type campaign with all his great matches for the junior title. And then this one for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. Krssi Luv, your matches of the week.
Okay, so I'm going to go number 3 is going to be Seth versus Solo. Number 2 will be Saraya versus Willow. I feel like Willow brought something out of Saraya a little bit more because, she hasn't had much matches, but I feel like she showcased a little bit more. Could have been better with the ending, but hey, who am I, right? And then my number 1 will be Dragon Lee versus JD. I love JD McDonough. Oh, my God. I mean, I'm so happy that he's going to the main roster. Hopefully they don't fuck that up. But yeah, that's my 3.
Hopefully they don't. I heard a rumor that he might be joining Judgment Day with his former trainer, God. Finn Balor. So I don't know. We'll see.
Someone posted online the trainers that the NXT kids have come up with or whatever, and kind of foreshadowing where they may go. I'm like, Are we babysitting now? Why are we doing this?
I don't know how that works.
I don't know how it's gonna work. We're babysitters now. Dad. What did MJF say? Daddy daycare? We don't need that.
NXT Daddy daycare.
Yep, there we go.
Dedrian, what's your 3 or 5 from this past week?
All right, so I got 3. So this week I watched Raw, Dynamite, SmackDown, and Rampage. Saw a little bit of Impact, but that was mostly the Naomi segment, so I'm not gonna give anything from that show. From Raw, Solo versus Seth. From Dynamite, damn, I gotta say the Adam Cole, Roderick Strong. Who else was in that?
Orange Cassidy and Bandito versus
that
was good.
8-man tag. That was
really good.
Adam Cole after the match just beating the crap out of Jericho. That was freaking hilarious. I loved it. And the last one, it was the most entertaining, goofy, silly, hilarious, entertaining match. The freaking ultimate deletion match.
Yeah.
The
honorable mention to ultimate deletion. Honorable mention for that. Yes.
So freaking entertaining. I'm like, it's so stupid, but funny stupid. What?
I don't blame anyone who puts that as their match of the week.
I wanted to put the skit with Jay Lethal in them, but that's not a match. So I love that. That was the moment of the week. That was the moment of the week. Yes, I think that was the moment of the week. Yes.
Sound off in the live chat if you're with us live with your matches of the week, as well as your predictions for WWE Backlash. If you're watching on demand, of course, you can do that in the comments down below. Give us your 3 to 5 matches of the week. But of course, give us your predictions for WWE Backlash, which is tonight in San Juan, Puerto Rico. We like to do rapid fire with these, so let's get into it. In the match that makes no type of sense at all, Seth Rollins will go one-on-one with Omos. I don't even know what to tell you about the build because they just had one segment together, and the match was made before that even segment happened. Krssi Luv, who you got, Seth or Omos?
Seth.
Dedrian.
I want to say Seth, but knowing WWE, it's going to be Omos.
What? Really? You think
I've been battling this the whole week because it makes the sense in the world for Seth to win, but they don't have a challenger for Roman at Night of Champions. So would they have Omos win to become that challenger?
Oh my God, no.
Here's the thing. As stupid as it sounds, Think of WWE's booking. It's almost like watching a WWE Universe mode on 2K.
Oh my
like
God,
it's almost like the most random. Like, oh, I'm gonna fight. Roman Reigns is the champion. You're fighting freaking Kane or something. Like, who the hell is this? Where the hell does this guy come from? Like, what?
Like, what are we
yeah,
doing?
I got Omos.
What are we doing? I'm gonna stick with my prediction that I put up on the our prediction championship and on our prediction show earlier in the week. So I'll stick with Seth, but man, I'm battling. If I could pick today, I would say Omos. But hey, United States Championship will be up for grabs. Austin Theory will defend in a triple threat match against Bobby Lashley and Bronson Reed. You got two guys from SmackDown, one guy from Raw. Who wins here, Miss Krssi Luv? Who walks out with the U.S. belt?
I think Austin will still win it. He'll still be champion.
I agree with you. I think Austin.
You need that heel, person to have it right now. So
I think Theory retains. Dedrian, who you got?
I'm gonna go with the person that they've been showing nothing but vignettes of, Bronson Reed.
You think Raw is gonna have the Intercontinental title and the U.S. title?
Yep. Think about it. Look at what they did with the NXT champions and the tag team champions. Think of what they did with the world title and the undisputed title, and then think of the tournament that they have, where even though the championship is exclusively on Raw, both teams,
it just
think of Kate's tweet.
I know things don't make sense, but I don't think they're gonna make that much nonsense.
Well, you know what? You know what's actually is not bad, because guess what? We have NXT titles that's on SmackDown, so he's not really far from what what's.
We gotta think with WWE logic. Let's just create chaos just to have a storyline.
Yeah. Everything is upside down. It's the upside down verse, basically. For the Raw Women's Championship with two SmackDown stars in this matchup, you're going to have Bianca Belair defending against Io Sky. If Bianca defends, she will become the longest reigning Raw Women's Champion, and her reign will probably end with a belt swap, while Io Sky will be trying to break out from Damage Control and get the win in this one. Krssi Luv, who you got?
I have Bianca, and we're going to have to do this unfortunate, dumb swapping of belts. Like, I don't even need you to do that. Just have Bianca just show up with, like they did it in the back, like they did it at the airport. I don't know. Like, don't do this. Don't take live TV.
Other person's bag at the baggage place.
Like, let's just do this, like, in the office or whatever. Like, here's your belt, here's mine. Like, then you do the draft. You draft Bianca, and Bianca ain't even there. She did a video in the hotel room.
Dedrian, who you got? Bianca and Io.
All right, I'm going to lay out my prediction. I believe Io is going to win, which is going to set up the can they coexist between her and the rest of Damage Control, which will turn on Io in a couple of weeks to make that split.
I think it's more likely that Bayley tries to help Io and then costs Io in this one. I think that Bianca retains, especially because she has a reality show where she's taping the reality show with the championship. So
she's the John Cena. She's going to win.
I've learned long ago.
That's the John Cena effect.
You don't bet against Bianca and Roman in these predictions. SmackDown Women's Championship, you got Rhea Ripley defending against the woman of Puerto Rican descent, Zelina Vega. It's not her hometown, ladies and gentlemen. Her hometown is New York. Just wanted to make that clear.
But they didn't let her fight in New York either, so then what's the difference?
Also true. Rhea Ripley versus Zelina Vega, being able to perform in front of her family in Puerto Rico here.
Zelina being in the front row, will he get to watch it?
Hey, Zelina's gonna have a good effort here, but Rhea Ripley wins.
Yeah, Krssi? She's not winning. She's definitely. Rhea's going to win the title. Win this match. Sorry.
Yeah. Unless they want to do something radical out of the blue,
they're not doing that.
Get a pop.
She just won these belts.
You know what? They might
stand up for Puerto Rico. Stand up for Puerto Rico, Dedrian.
Look, they might do that. She wins the title tonight and loses it on Monday.
Oh my God, what?
That's WWE logic.
That's WWE logic. She's supposed to be on SmackDown, and she's gonna be on Raw.
But no, I think Rhea's gonna win. I think Rhea's gonna win.
This one should be an absolute banger. 6-man tag team matchup. The Bloodline, Solo Sikoa, and the Usos versus Matt Riddle and the undisputed WWE Tag Team Champions Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. This should be so much fun. Great matchup indeed. But I got Riddle, Zayn, and Owens beating the Bloodline, with Jay taking the loss to set up Solo Sikoa having to thumb one of his brothers. Dedrian, who you got?
I got the Usos and Solo.
I put the Usos and Solo too. They can't keep getting all these fucking L's.
And I think what we're gonna see is not Solo spike his brothers. He's gonna spike Paul Heyman.
I don't know about that. Especially with Roman's coming back on Friday.
The reason why is because if you really look at WWE storytelling, they've invested so much of their creativity into the Usos and the Bloodline. Everything else is...
Yeah, of course.
They would do something like that.
I don't know. You made me think with the Omos one, but I'm not vibing with these other wild predictions. Next one, you got the two big time matches for this show. Cody Rhodes going one-on-one with Brock Lesnar. This all started on the Raw after WrestleMania when Brock was supposed to team with Cody Rhodes against Solo Sikoa and Roman Reigns. Brock brutalized and beat down Cody. He's been avoiding him ever since. Cody wants to fight and wants to prove himself against Brock Lesnar here. Can Cody overcome adversity? Adversity's name is Brock Lesnar. Krssi Luv, who you got?
I'm thinking Cody will win. I mean, I would hope he would win. Like, we can't get 2 L's on 2 back-to-back pay-per-views now. Like this is bad. But I think we don't know because it's WWE. So it's like he probably gonna get the L from the free agent himself. Like, although the free agent doesn't even care if he doesn't need the win, so it doesn't really fucking matter. So I'm going Cody.
Dedrian?
I'm going with Brock Lesnar. Here's why. He lost to the part-timer in Roman Reigns. He loses to the part-timer in Brock Lesnar. So now he's going to show up on Raw. I guess I got to keep fighting because it's all a part of Cody's story. He has to work his way up to get that goal, to get that championship. Whichever 3 championships it is that they want him to get.
He has to keep running up that hill. Running up that hill, ladies and gentlemen. I agree with Dedrian. Brock Lesnar wins tonight against Cody Rhodes. And then finally, this should obviously be the main event. The battle for Puerto Rico, San Juan street fight. Bad Bunny going one-on-one with Damian Priest. It was Damian Priest who chokeslammed Bad Bunny through the announce table on the Raw after WrestleMania, following Bad Bunny costing Dominic Mysterio the matchup against Rey at WrestleMania, taking the chain away from him and knocking Dom on his ass. So Dame had to take matters into his own hands and attack his former friend. He's been talking trash ever since. Bad Bunny returned with a kendo stick and laid into Damian Priest, and now we got this San Juan street fight. Bad Bunny wins. LOL. It's gonna happen. You got to get that pop from the fans. Dedrian?
The person that I pick to win this match is the Puerto Rican.
Think it's smart. But which Puerto Rican? Priest or Bunny?
The one with long hair.
Oh, Priest. Okay.
Oh, that's Priest. There's one with curly hair and there's one with long hair.
Well, actually, Bad Bunny does have long hair.
Hey, he got curly hair right now.
I know.
We saw him last night.
Seriously, I think it's got to be Bad Bunny. Like,
it has to be.
I know I've seen some predictions like, oh, Damian Priest because Bad Bunny doesn't need the loss, but it's like, it's in Puerto Rico. You need that pop. You need that visual. Or let me phrase that. It might go into my video editing mode. You need that B-roll footage for future events that Bad Bunny's going to be on.
Yeah.
Quote unquote WrestleMania. There you go. So you need that final pop of the crowd popping in Puerto Rico for future events in Puerto Rico. So yeah, it's got to be Bad Bunny.
Krssi, you agree?
I agree. There's no other person that should win. He was the host, and now he's wrestling in the main event. The host is going to win, friend.
It's going to be the Boricuas.
Yeah.
The Boricuas win. But yes, that brings us to a close on another edition of Tru Heel Heat. We want to thank the good brother Dedrian on his birthday week joining us to celebrate the honorary Puerto Rican week with San Juan representing for WWE Backlash tonight. He does great work over at House of Rasslin, one of the nicest people we've had here on the channel and on the Flagship podcast. Dedrian, please let the people know where they can follow you on social media and anything else you got going on, sir.
All right, you guys can follow me, Dedrian180_ on Instagram and Twitter. You can follow the House of Rasslin. That's HOUSEOFRASSLIN. You can follow House of Rasslin on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. And you can follow me on TikTok at Dedrian180_ as well. I post a lot of crazy stuff on there, more wrestling footage and stuff like that, but I also give reviews, grades, and match of the nights for most of the wrestling programs that are out and that I watch. So yeah, that's about it. But hey, man, I'm just having fun and enjoying wrestling and all these 45 wrestling promotions worldwide.
And look at that background. That background looks immaculate with the figures.
Yeah, that's nice.
I got some new ones. I got the Jade Cargill right here.
Hey, representing Jade. Look at Jade. Look at Jade. Looking all
I got Orange Cassidy up here. Hold on. There you go.
Hands in the pockets. Yeah. There it is. There he is.
Nice.
There you go.
Love to see it. Love to see it. Miss Krssi Luv, please let the people know where they can follow you on social media and anything you got going on, sis.
Okay, so you can catch me on our flagship show, which is Tru Heel Heat, every Saturday, 11:05. Even though they say I have the Roman schedule nowadays, it's not that but whatever. Anywho, but other than that, you can catch me on Serving Face and Hills, which is every Sunday. Our flagship show with Tru Heel Heat, 11:05 on Saturdays. My IG is Krssi Luv _1. Twitter is Tru Heel Krssi Luv. And then if you just follow me on Facebook, it's just my plain old name. Other than that, I should be on the watch along tonight. Are we doing 2? Are you doing basketball too?
I don't know. I see it's up.
I mean, I wouldn't be on the basketball one, but I'm just saying, like,
is that for today? No, that's for today. That's for today at 3:30. He's doing that.
We have 3. We have okay. Yeah, because
he's just doing the Knicks and Heat at 3:30. So
because of New York. Got it.
Yes,
okay.
You could join Romeo over there on the Tru Heel Heat sports YouTube channel. So go over and subscribe over there. We're almost at 400 subscribers on Tru Heel Heat Sports. So send us up over there.
Nice,
remember that you could drop the thumbs up on this video, share this video with your friends, subscribe if you are new, hit the bell to stay notified for all the great content here. You also can, if you're listening to us on any of the podcast platforms, you can give us a 5-star rating because that always helps out so much. If you're listening to us on Spotify, iTunes, Anchor, any of your podcast platforms which we're available on, give us that 5-star rating because that helps out. You can follow us on the Twitter machine and Facebook as well as Instagram at Tru Heel Heat. You can follow myself at Tru Heel SP3, patreon.com/Tru Heel Heat. For $3 a month, you could join us for the Tru Heel Heat Prediction Championship and plus more exclusive content throughout the week. My Raw reports are up there. Dark Power is no more because there's no more Dark and Dark Elevation.
No more Dark, Dark Elevation plus that E. Dang.
But we will have some new stuff over there. Don't worry. And of course, join us tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Time for our WWE Backlash 2023 watch party. Romeo will be here. Miss Krssi Luv will be here, plus much more to watch the big show tonight. And I'll be back with you tomorrow at 11:05 a.m. Eastern Time for our WWE Backlash 2023 roundtable review. Stephanie Hypes will be there as well, so join us for that. But thank you so much to Dedrian, our special guest. Thank you, as always, to Miss Krssi Luv, our producer in the back, Baby Seth, as always, thank you. This has been Tru Heel Heat 224. All tickets, Elite Wrestling. We are signing off until next time.
Later.